Second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about...
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
English, mother...
Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Let's put a smile on that face.
Hey everyone, just a quick message before we get into it. Unfortunately, the recording of my audio had a real nasty echo. I did my best to remove it. I was able to remove it, but the audio still isn't the greatest. So I just wanted to let you know and enjoy the episode.
What's up, film family? Welcome back to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Scott. As always, I'm here with my boy Dion.
What's up?
And today we're doing the 1985 sci-fi comedy Back to the Future. So this is directed by Robert Zemeckis, written by Zemeckis and Bob Gale. Steven Spielberg was also attached to. I wasn't even sure. Like I saw him in the credit, like even like the beginning credits. It said like they had his name pop up.
Yeah.
And originally I thought he directed it, but he didn't, and he like produced it. But like I don't know. You're much more of a behind the scenes movie guy. Like you know all that stuff. Like what were your thoughts on kind of how this movie got made?
Well, with me, I always find it funny too because like it was such a big thing back then. If Spielberg like produced him because he had his own production house, right?
Yeah.
So they'd always promote movies like a Steven Spielberg movie, and you'd be like, "Oh, it's a Spielberg movie," but he didn't direct or write it. It's just you throw his name on it just so people be like, "Oh, that's the Jaws guy." And at that point, I mean, at this, as it further goes, "Oh, that's the ET guy. Oh, that's the Indiana Jones guy. Oh, that's the Jurassic
he has so
Park
many
guy."
freaking huge
Yeah, exactly,
movies. So
exactly. So you just see his name, and you're like, I don't even care who directed or written it. Like I'm going to go see that movie.
yeah, just having his name attached to it definitely get like kind of it just draws people in. Like it's just a good way to, I guess, bring people in because, like you said, all these projects that he's been a part of, huge movies. Like he's absolute legend. But I mean, Robert Zemeckis himself has made tons of good movies. I guess some of them are kind of after this. This was
Well,
one
they're
of
all
his
after
bigger.
this.
Yeah, well, he had a couple decent movies because he made one just before this. I can't remember the name of it. I didn't write it down, but that's what kind of gave
It's like a
him
romance
the opportunity
something.
to make this. Sorry?
It's like a romance. It's called Romance something. I know what you're talking
exactly.
about.
Yeah. Because him and Bob Gale had a few like duds basically,
Yeah.
and because this script got rejected 40 times, over 40 times before it got made. So he had that one romantic movie that did well, and then having Spielberg attached to it was able to get this movie going. But the other ones I wrote down were Forrest Gump, Castaway, Flight, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like he's got a good resume on his own.
Oh no, for sure. And like you said too, it's like I honestly until we did like obviously we both did our research for the movie. I actually had no idea that Spielberg even produced this movie because I saw this as a kid. I didn't see it like later on, so I wasn't even looking at like who directed or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Okay,
when you're a kid, you know what I mean. Like I don't
you
know
just
who
watch the movie
exactly. Like who directs Shrek before I go see it. You know what I mean? Like you're a kid, you're just like you see it. All the names don't mean anything to me. I didn't know who Michael Myers was and all those things. So it's just like when I saw this movie as a kid, I didn't even know. And then later on when I watched it like as a teenager, I didn't know. And it was only until we like rewatched it for the podcast and I was looking into it, I was like, oh, I had no idea that he was even involved with this movie.
Yeah, I didn't. I feel like I knew because his name's on the movie poster. Like it's pretty clear that he's attached to it.
True.
But you're right. Like if you're a kid, you don't even look at any of the names like that. None of that means anything to you. And or go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and even a past movie we did too. Like we did Transformers. I had no idea he produced that either.
Yeah, same.
Exactly right. Because it's like, why would you like when you're a kid, like high school and stuff? Unless you're really into movies, you're not really producer, especially. You're not really checking for that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that even now, like producers, I don't really care that much. Like I'm not like I said, you're much more of a you know a lot of the names behind the scenes, directors, writers. I enjoy movies. Like if I see a trailer or something and I think it looks good, I'll go see it. I mean, more recently I've gotten a lot more into like producers and directors but I also know, like me not being a movie expert, I understand where their impact on the movie comes from. Like an actor, I can physically see them on screen. A director, I kind of understand how they're kind of in charge of the whole thing. It's their vision, right? So like I see that impact, and then I know, okay, if it's an actor I like or a director I like, then I know, what going in kind of where their impact is going to be, and I can appreciate that. But like a producer, some of them are really hands off, and they just,
Yeah.
they let the director, the actor, and the filmmakers cook. So even now, producers to me isn't that big of a draw.
No, for sure. And I didn't realize until later, until like I've seen like documentaries and stuff. Then there's so many documentaries on like the big movies and stuff. And that's when you realize like how much say the producer, the executive producers obviously have their say because they're financing the movie. But the
Right.
producer can literally just straight up be like, we're not doing that scene. Just like straight up no. And the director can't do anything. That's why like you'll see like the Nolans and the Tarantinos, they produce their own movies, and even like Spielberg and those, they'll be like, I'm only gonna direct this movie if I produce it, because I don't need some guy telling me, no, we're not gonna do that fish shot or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do any damn shot I want, and then they
Yeah.
have that, they have the respect for people like, okay, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Hey, go check out Snowpiercer if you guys haven't listened to that yet, for the callback to the
Yeah,
fish shot that Dion's talking about. But I
exactly.
mean, this I guess it doesn't lead in because we kept talking, but you were talking about how you saw this movie when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I have to make my confession that
Oh.
I have not. This is my first time seeing this movie. This is an like all-time classic, and I have to admit too, there's a lot of classics that I have not seen, and I'm sure I'm discrediting myself as a movie lover. I mean, I never claimed to be an expert, to be
Mm.
fair, but there's a lot of classics that I have not seen, and I blame my parents
Damn.
because bro, when we grew up, right,
Yeah.
streaming wasn't a thing, like Netflix and
Yeah.
Prime
Yeah.
Video, like that wasn't a thing. So you either watched the movie in the theater or you rented it at like Blockbuster.
Mhm.
And when I was a kid, like I didn't have any money. I didn't know about I wasn't going to
Yeah.
Blockbuster and getting movies. I wasn't alive when it came out.
Yeah.
So unless I watched it on TV, maybe, sometimes that happens, but
Yeah. Reruns. Yeah.
it just never happened. And I got to face the music. I got to admit it.
Just to let everybody know, I'm now looking for a new host of the podcast. If you'd like to,
You've been waiting for that joke, huh? Because you're doing this is my first time.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
know
okay, how
that.
am I gonna roast him?
Nah, he guys, don't get on his back. I've never seen. I since he acknowledged that he hasn't seen the whole trilogy, I haven't seen the Star Wars trilogy. I've never seen that. I've never seen those movies. So
What do
I'll
we
give
do?
him that.
What are we doing, bro? Why are we just outing ourselves as like these? We're doing a movie podcast. Like I said, we never claim to be experts or anything,
Yeah.
but like we got to step it up.
But here's my thing though. The Back to the Future one, it's whatever. Like I'm not gonna. People will come. Well, I don't say people will come at you, but people will be like, "Damn, really? You never watched that?"
Yeah,
At least like with me, the Star Wars thing, that was just kind of like a choice. And I used to always say it too, because I was like, there's too many, and I'll admit it, I like watching nerd things too. I like, if we're talking nerd things, what, like Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, it's all nerd stuff. It's cool now, but like back
yeah.
in the day when you were into those stuff, you were kind of a nerd. To me, I was like, there's too many of these nerd things. I can only be really deep into, and for me, I was really into DC and I really got into Marvel. I watched Lord of the Rings as a little kid. I got to rewatch it though, because I watched it literally as like elementary school kid. So like, nothing
Bro,
stuck with
Lord of
me.
the Rings is my shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
Nothing
Lord of the
stuck with
Rings,
me.
dog.
I literally saw it when I was like too young to even really remember. Because I remember my uncle was like, "Yo, you gotta watch Lord of the Rings." And I'm like,
Yeah,
not. I'm like 9 or 10, and I'm like, sure, whatever. I'm watching them, but I was just like, they're too long, and they are long,
yeah. They are
especially if you're
long.
trying
Yeah,
to get a little kid to watch them. But
yeah.
it was, I need to rewatch them because as a kid I didn't appreciate them. I was like playing with my toys at the same time and like
Right.
whatnot. So like
Yeah, hey,
I need to
we'll
rewatch.
do a Lord of the Rings series. We'll do that eventually.
Oh yeah, I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
down. But again, I don't to go off what you said too. I don't blame you because it really does come down to your parents too. Because like my dad, he showed me a lot of these '80s movies, and I'm gonna list them off. Like the Back to the Future trilogy. He has the box set of all three movies. Like he was a huge Back to the Future fan, so he has the box set, has all three covers. I watched that. He made me watch the Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, Neverending Story, Gremlins, Goonies, like Ghostbusters, like. And as a kid, you don't even realize these are like '80s movies. There's all like kids movies. Here's watching them like these movies could have came out yesterday for all I know. I'm just watching
Yeah.
these movies, and it's later I realized like, oh, these are '80s classics. And I didn't, and I'm realizing, oh wait, all the kids in my elementary school, you guys never seen the Goonies? You never seen? Did it? Like I was like, they're like, no, we're watching Shrek and Cars and stuff like that. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
the
I mean,
crazy thing is though, like for me, almost all those movies you mentioned, I've seen them. So
Oh,
like, why
really?
Back to the Future? The other one I have to admit is Breakfast Club. I haven't seen the Breakfast
Okay.
Club, but like,
Mm.
what were the other ones you said? Like
Oh,
Goonies,
Goonies, Gremlins,
seen it.
The
Yep.
Never-Ending Story.
I don't think
One's
so.
niche. That one's
Okay.
niche. And then Ghostbusters.
Yep. Seen the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, which I don't know. I guess this is interesting. I don't know why
Yeah, I
you
don't
haven't
know. I don't
seen
know
that
what
one.
it is. I guess it's just like it, like we said, whatever your parents showed you, you
Yeah.
watched. Whatever they didn't, you didn't. I feel like some of those I even saw like in school or like like
Yeah, like a
on a
teacher. I
rainy
could see
day
that.
or something. A teacher brings it up or yeah, I
I
don't
could
know.
see that. The only reason I saw the original what's it called? Willy Wonka. No, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is because my teacher. It was like on a
Oh, okay.
snow day. They're like, guys, we're gonna watch this. Clearly, that was their favorite movie.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I got an opportunity to watch this in class.
Well, there you go. I also blame my teachers for not
Oh,
showing me Back to
true.
the Future,
That's
so
true.
I could spread the blame around. Well, regardless, the blame is not on me, of course.
Yes, of course. Okay.
Of course. So, this movie was absolutely legendary, and I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
why do you think it was one of like the all-time classic? Like everybody says, this is one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time. Like, was it ahead of its time in terms of like effects, like the performances, the concept of like time travel and like a kid doing it on top of that? Like, what do you think it was?
I think that's a good question. I feel like maybe there was like a rom like I don't actually know if this is true. If there was like a romance with like maybe like 50s in the sense at that time, because I feel like every era like they always go back and be like, all right now, like when the Stranger Things stuff, like the 80s was really cool. That much like 80s things was happening, and then maybe in the 80s, I'm just throwing. Someone's gonna be like listening
Yeah.
to this, be like, this guy's so wrong. No one give a shit about
Well,
the 50s.
we weren't alive in the 80s, so we don't
Yeah, so
know.
I'm assuming maybe it was kind of like a cool concept. Like, I'm not gonna say like they were the first one to make like a time travel movie, but because there was definitely time travel movies before
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
I think it was just like that cool bounce of like having like the 80s stuff and the 50s stuff. And it's a movie, I guess, that parents and also the kids can like at the same time, because there's also making those references, like those 50s references and all these little references and stuff like that. So it's one of those the parents and the kids can kind of like it, where
Yeah, and
it's not just a one or the other.
you're right. And the plot, like the plot's easy to follow.
Yeah.
For kids, that makes it simple. Because I feel like a lot of time travel movies, they're worried about the science behind the time travel, and it's like if we do
Mhm.
this, then that means this can happen. And like for a kid, that could be confusing. Whereas
Yeah.
this one, it's pretty clear. He messes up his parents' meeting, and his brother and sister are fading away, so he has to get them back together, and he has to go back to the future where he's from. So it's easy to follow, and it's
Mhm.
funny. Like there's jokes in there for kids. So yeah, I guess it's kind of a mix of maybe all the things that I mentioned, because the effects are really cool in this movie too,
Yeah.
especially for the time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I think it's a perfect. Some of these 80 movies are blessed because they were in a perfect time where they didn't have too much CGI, so they didn't want
Right.
to really like dabble with it anyway. It's like let's do a lot of this stuff practical as much as we can. We'll do some computer things, but like it wasn't advanced enough where I feel like they felt confident enough to use a lot of it. So like they try to stick to their guns of trying to make things practical. And then usually at the end of the day, that's what helps things keep them timeless. If you don't do too much.
It's a good point too. Like it's one of those less is more things, like
Yeah.
it's that we've gotten to the point where it's nothing but computer generated. Like
Oh,
there'll be multiple minutes in a movie where you don't see a single actual actor. It's all just
yeah.
action craziness going on, and it's like it's too much, right? So is this like the fire when he time travels, and then the spinning
Yeah.
plate? It's just sick, and that was definitely practical, but it's just so
Yeah.
cool.
No, yeah, exactly. It's just little stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
think it's just yeah, like you said, it's the attention to detail of like just what they did with the time machine car and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it's just the little things. The humor is funny. I think it's like an uncomfortable humor too, because I was gonna get into it. If you're listening, again, spoilers. I'm assuming you've seen the movie, but like the whole weird thing with his mom too. That's like a thing where it's like you watch as a kid, it's like funny, but also like you watch as like this is so messed up.
Yeah.
It's like a very dark kind of humor, but it's
Mm.
also kind of light too at the same time.
I actually read that that was the main reason that Disney didn't accept the script. Like
I
I
can
said, it
believe
got
that.
shut down a bunch of times.
Mhm.
And for Disney, that was their biggest thing. They were like, the whole him and his mom being attracted to him, like that whole thing was too risque for that.
In their defense, I don't blame them.
Yeah,
That is pretty wild.
but it doesn't happen, like
No, it doesn't.
it's good. So I mean, you're right. It's weird as an idea, and just the fact that it kind of happens, but nothing goes on, so it's it ends up being okay.
It's
Yeah.
funny because here we are in 2024, and now they're making jokes about pegging in Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh, you're
They-
right. Yeah, Disney. Jeez,
yeah, they've come a long way.
they should. Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
So we're gonna go. I mean, we open with Doc kind of in his apartment. We see Doc getting his craziness. We meet Marty's parents. We kind of see his situation as a character. All this set up before the first time travel experiment where we see Doc for the first time. Did you have anything to say about this?
I thought it was just comical, like the amount of clocks that this dog
Yeah.
had, like in like the whole opening scene, and everything. Because to me, it's kind of just like I understand that like you're working with time, you're trying to figure out like the time travel and all that stuff, but why would you have like 100 clocks? I don't
I
understand.
thought the same thing. Like, what does 10 more clocks actually do? Like, how does that help you? I don't know.
I think it's a good visual. It was a good visual because obviously you know what we're getting into. This movie's all about time, but I just thought it was a comical amount of clocks. I kind of forgot how many there was as it kept going and going. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous.
And there was just so much stuff in his
Oh my goodness.
house. Was this his house? I don't even know. And then, like he blasts the speaker. I mean, what did he think was gonna happen when
Yeah,
Marty
I
did? Like he plugs in his guitar, blasts everything to 10. The
Yeah.
speaker's like 7 feet tall. We're like, dude, what do you think was gonna happen? But it was funny, man. Just
No, it
all the
was good.
stuff in the house, just the way it's setting up. And he's a kid, so like
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the way they set that up. Like the
No,
opening
same.
shot.
Yeah, no, it was good.
And then so I also liked when he goes to school
Mhm.
for the first time and the principal's like, "Oh, you're tardy." And he literally gets nose to nose with him.
Yeah.
Like he's in his face and his nose is literally touching Marty's nose. I'm like, first of all, like you're a principal and this is a kid. Like I know you're not like actually gonna beat him up or kiss him or
Yeah.
anything, but like just you are so close to this kid, man.
Yeah, I know, it's so true. And the funny thing is too, like we get it. Like this isn't like it's not jumping too much ahead in saying that like he says you're a slacker. You're just like your father. But like, was his dad really a slacker though? Is that was just a nerd? Like what is? I didn't know when
He
later
was
on
the
I was kind
opposite
of
of a
just
slacker. He was
that's what I
doing
mean.
all the work.
That's what I mean. I didn't understand that beef there of just like you're gonna be just like your father. I'm like, when you see the contrast of what his dad actually was and what he is, I'm like, Marty is really working with a girl right now. He's nothing like his dad.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
Like I
Well, his
don't know.
dad eventually got a girl, but
Eventually, but the confidence in Marty versus his dad, I don't know where that
yeah.
comparison comes from.
Yeah, I don't know. He was just hating, man. And
He's
you're right.
straight.
Like the slacker doesn't even make sense. Like I don't know. He was doing his work and Bip's work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah,
so I
that's
don't.
just hating, man. And then when him and his band do they're auditioning
Audition?
for something,
Yeah,
and the guy's like, "Sorry, you guys are just too loud." And I'm like, "Volume is the problem. Like, just
yeah,
turn
I
them
know.
down."
That's. I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, you didn't think they're gonna be loud when you saw them with their instruments in the first place?
Right.
Like, why would you not just stop them immediately?
Yeah. And,
Yeah,
like if volume is the issue, you could easily address that. Like
Yeah.
that's not what this audition should be for. You're looking for quality right now, not volume.
Yeah, I thought that was ridiculous.
And then so yeah, then we get to the first time travel event.
Yeah.
So we meet Doc for the first time. And what do you think of this whole I mean like I said, I'm not gonna
Sequence.
explain what happened, but like just the
Yeah.
whole sequence of events is wild. What do you think of this scene?
No, it was great because like I mean you get like that classic shot and you know the one thing I don't know if you saw the thing. Did you see that Einstein was originally going to be like a chimpanzee? Did you see
Oh,
that? Yeah, that
That's sick
apparent.
though.
I, I saw the funniest thing about it too because apparently he was going to be a chimpanzee and the executive his name was like Sid Seinberg and he said that like this is what I always find funny with like producers and executives where it's just like when you hear the stories of directors and writers, to them it's just like it's all about the fun, like oh like this character, this, and then like the executives and the producers always got to always got to like button up their tie and be like, no, movies with this don't make money. Like oh this like he was saying that like movies with chimps don't make money. And I'm just like, that's such like a random like statement. You know what I mean? Like, who
Yeah.
says a movie like that he has a chimp as a so people aren't gonna go see it? Oh no, he is a chimp instead of a
Yeah.
dog. I don't wanna go see. It's just a weird statement to me, just to make.
You're right. That is yeah. Like, what difference would that? I think it would be cooler, man. If he was a chimp. I mean, Doc's character, he's over the top. He's the crazy
Yeah.
mad scientist. It would make sense for him to have a monkey as a pet like that. I think that would have been great.
And the funny thing is though that like what's his name? Zemeckis? Yeah, Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Robert Zemeckis. He had some pushback with it, and he was like, well, because there was a Clint Eastwood movie that came out. It was called Every Which Way But Loose. And he was like, what are you talking about? He has a chimpanzee in that movie, and that movie made money. And he was like, no, that was an orangutan.
Oh my god, dude, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
was like,
stupid. Like,
that is so stupid.
who even knows the difference? Well, I mean, you could see the difference, but like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I know. The last thing I have to say that, and then to get back into the scene, but I thought another thing was funny too because I actually had this slight moment too. I don't remember what my feeling was as a kid, but I had a different response because I knew it was going to happen. Like when he had Einstein go back into time, or yeah, go forward in time, so he could show him that it
Yeah.
works. Apparently, when they did like the test screening, did you see the thing about the test screening or no?
No, let me know.
Apparently, in the test screening, people got shocked. Like when that scene happened of Einstein just going through time and then like disappearing, like the test screen audience was just silence. Like they were just shocked because they thought he died.
Oh,
And my first thought too when I saw it, I was like, yo, that's kind of messed up. Like, why is he testing it on his dog? Why isn't he just like, let me show you? You know what I mean? Because what if it doesn't work? You're just gonna kill your dog
yeah,
as
that's
a
a good
test
point.
subject. It is kind of messed up. But then when he came back, then the test audience was like, oh, okay. Then we started
Yeah,
clapping because they were shook because I was like, damn, yeah, it does look pretty wild if you think of it in that sense of like, wait, did he? Because even Marty asked, did he just kill?
yeah. I was just gonna
He
say,
asked
Marty
him.
was like, "You just disintegrated Einstein. Like, what the hell, man?" And I mean, I don't know. I didn't think anything of it because I don't know. I just knew it was gonna work. Like, I was like, if it doesn't work, then there's no movie. So I was like, obviously the machine's gonna work. But
Mhm.
you're right. Like the fact that he actually like was testing it with his dog, and really he didn't need to do that. He could have like it was a
He
remote
didn't.
controlled car. He didn't need anybody in the car. He could have just put the clock, like the stopwatch, in the car, done the test, and then come back and look at the watch. The dog did not need to be in there.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. He did it. Yeah, because at the end of at the end of it, it was really just about showing the clock.
Yeah,
Why did Einstein have to
it's
be?
not like
in the car?
it's not like Einstein was driving the car. Like why
Yeah.
did nobody had to be in there?
That's a good point. That's a very good point. And also, like, how did Einstein? Because I guess like his clock was to go into the future. It was not go in the past. Okay, yeah. Because I was thinking, how did he get back? But he just went through. It
He
was
went
just.
a minute into the future, so they just waited a minute, and then he was there.
I wonder where he went.
Well,
Like, what happened?
he would have just immediately like if we're
Oh,
in
yeah, that's
Einstein's
true.
perspective, yeah, he would have just arrived there. So
Yeah,
that
that's
minute
true.
for him would have never happened.
But in seconds, yeah, sure. I think Doc did say that. You're right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean
Yeah.
that's how
What?
time like if you travel like when Doc at the end travels 30 years ahead, he would just arrive 30 years ahead. And when Marty does it, the same thing. When he comes back from the 50s,
Hmm.
he just arrives in 1985. Like there's not you don't see anything really. You just kind of arrive there.
No, that's true. Well, what did you think of the setup? Like when he was mentioning how like he used plutonium, and then he said he got it from some guy. He told him he was gonna make a bomb. Do you think that was just like a throwaway line, or did you actually think that was gonna come back at him?
Yeah, I did not expect to see. Yeah, I did not expect them to come back because I mean, it was like international terrorists like asked me to make a bomb. I was like, damn, this is like heavy stuff. I was like, I thought this was like a lighthearted not kid movie, but like it's funny and it's
Yeah,
chill. I did not expect that, but it worked. Like I like this scene and the way they set up Marty going back to the 50s by himself, right?
Mhm.
Because like that's the premise or like that's how the plot of the movie goes forward, right? Is he has to go back by himself. So how do we get there? Is the way that it sets up with them coming, attacking Doc. He thinks Doc died, and then he gets it, and then he has to drive away. And he should have known that like they just did the test, dude. Like as soon as you get up to speed, you're gonna travel back.
Yeah.
Did he not know, or did he just not care? Like he was just running for his life, and I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think maybe it was a mix of, but he did keep looking at the clock. So maybe I think part of him knew, like he kept, or maybe I don't know, maybe that was just the camera work of them showing us. I couldn't tell if he was the one that was constantly like looking at it too to make sure, like, oh snap, am I about to hit? Am I
Right?
about to hit 85? Because Doc did just tell him, like, if he forgot in like the matter of 5 minutes,
Yeah.
but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that like people are chasing him, trying to kill him. So maybe you you would just be focused on that immediate moment.
That's what I was
But
thinking too. And he's a high school kid, so I was like,
yeah,
I'm not mad at it, but I was also like, while he was driving, could he have just like punched in the numbers for like, like an hour ago, maybe,
mhm,
and he could have called Doc and be like, can we do this somewhere else? Like you're gonna get found. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
instead of going all the way back 30 years ago, but like you said, in the stress of the moment, you're just running for your life. I thought it was a good setup. I liked it.
No, I did too, and it's kind of funny too. And like, I was thinking about it, like again as I'm seeing this movie, I don't even know how many times I've seen this to this point, but I just thought it was funny. I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I wonder what like the relationship between these two guys, like how did this form? Do you know what I mean?
That's a good question. They never
They're
set
like
it up.
buddies, like
Yeah,
they seem like they're really close. Not that
that's
they
a really
needed to
good
set it
point.
up. I was just kind of thinking about it. And I was like, how much faith does Marty have? Or like, how often does Doc invent things? That the fact that this guy just told you he invented time travel and he was surprised, but not as surprised as, you know what I mean? I feel like you would be
Yeah.
if someone's like, I just discovered time travel. He was like, oh, snap, Doc. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it was pretty calm, I feel like, when
You're
you
right. He
think
was
about
pretty calm, but like they definitely have a pre-established relationship. They never show it to
yeah,
us.
which they
But
don't
you're
need
right.
to.
How did this happen? Yet we don't know, but we also don't know how long it's been. So like
Yeah.
I assume it's been a while because like you said, they're buddies. Like they
Mm.
talk as if they've known each other a long time. And the fact that he's not that surprised about the time travel thing, like he knows he's an inventor. But I mean, compared to all the other machines that really the only machine we saw is he had one that like opened the dog food. So like he like
Yeah.
could feed his dog on his own. So the leap from that to time travel is
Yeah,
pretty huge.
that's what I'm saying.
That's a good point.
Just a little bit. Yeah, it's a little big of a jump.
Yeah, it's a little step up. Good
Like a
job, dog.
basic robot just does to just going back in time 30 years.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So Marty gets it back 30 years. We meet his dad, or
Mm,
he meets his dad in the diner. They have the
yeah.
exact same interaction with him and Biff.
Yeah.
Biff, like what a name. Like that's a dog's
Oh
name.
my
Like
god. I
I'm
know.
furious by that name. Just saying. Like if your name is Biff, like you are born to be an 80s, 90s movie bully. Like
100%.
Buzz, Biff, Flash. Like these are not names that kids actually
Yeah, I
get.
know.
What is this?
It's so true.
But they have
It's
the
funny you
exact
said
same.
Buzz
Oh, go
too.
ahead, go ahead.
No,
Oh,
no, no. I
from
was just
Home
gonna say
Alone?
it's the buzz thing. I'm just saying the buzz thing is hilarious too. Like that's just so, and you're right too. It's like there's definitely an architect to an '80s bully,
Yeah,
very
100%.
much so. They always are like look like they're 30 to,
Yeah.
like he did not look like a high school kid. He's towering over everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's what he does to Marty's dad. Like he's
Yeah.
bigger than him in every way. So that's why he's pushing him around. But we even saw it before he went back in time, like as adults. He was still
Mhm.
pushing him around. Like he had to do his work for him. And like I said, they have the exact same interaction. That was kind of funny. Um, so he follows his dad and like his dad's peeping on his mom. I was like, dude,
Yeah, I know. That was wild, man. I was like, yo, his dad's is a next level creep.
I know. And he was like, so we find out that this is how he met his mom originally. Like he
Yeah.
falls out of the tree, gets hit by the car. And I'm like, so you met her from peeping on her. And he's not really that mad about it. He's like, he's a peeping Tom. And then that's
Yeah,
it.
I
Like
know.
I'd be like, dude, what the hell? What are you doing, dad? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, I thought that was. I actually forgot about that, and I was like, "Yo, that's pretty wild." Like his dad's a creep.
Yeah.
I did that kind of like sat with me for a bit. I'm like, "Damn, yo, like there's
All the guys, all the high school guys in this movie are horrible.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like they go, Biff, he jumps on his mom, like when they get to the dance and it's like, no,
yeah,
just,
yeah,
just look away, just go away. And it's like, dude, what is going on here? Like, there's and then even in the dance after when he gets the girl, the other dude is like, nah, I'm jumping in here. This is my girl. And he's like pulling her away, and she's like, George, help me. And it's like, dude, these guys are awful in this movie.
The part that killed me too in that scene is the dude's laughing maniacally as he's holding the girl. I'm like, dog, what are you? This girl does not want. We're the teachers, especially like I understand outside. I understand inside. This girl saying "help me" as this guy's laughing. Where are the teachers? My school dance, you got in trouble if you dance too closely. In this dance, you can hold girls captive.
You can freaking kidnap a girl and they're like, oh, she's fine. No, this kid's being kids. No, yeah, the dudes in this movie did not age well. Like, they are doing some messed up stuff.
Well, it's also they're supposed to be bad, but it's just like it's not the kind of bad you expect to be in like I guess you call this like a teen movie almost. Yeah, you wouldn't expect them to be that aggressive. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah, you're right. It's not. They're like raping a girl in a car. Like, dude, that's not good. Like, that's heavy. Like, what the hell, man? And I mean, even like George, like Marty's dad, is supposed to be a good guy, right? By the end of it, because he saves her from Biff, but he starts out with peeping. So even he's a creep. Like, what the hell?
That's what I mean, and that's the thing too, where it's like it's that mix of like it's a comedy, but it's also like I guess like a teen movie. So like you throw that in because it's comical, right? Oh, it's hilarious. He's peeping Tom, but I feel like you could have done it in a way that made him more like redeeming, just like him being like maybe like a horny teenager or something. You know what I mean? Like some girls walk by and you just see him like checking them out, but to go to the amount of effort it takes to climb into a tree with binoculars to creep is like, oh, this dude is a creep
in broad daylight, bro. Like, no, does he do this normally? Like, how does nobody see him? This is the middle of the day. Girls get. Too. I mean, she's also getting changed with the window wide open. Like, she's not helping herself. But I'm not blaming her. It's not her fault.
No, for sure.
But like 100%. Broad daylight, dude climbing a tree with binoculars. Like, you're not slick, dude. We could see you.
Not at all, man. Not at all.
And then he kind of meets his family. Like, he gets hit. Marty gets hit by the car, and then like the whole situation with his mom. And this is when it starts. Like, his mom hitting on him.
Oh God, this
is kind of weird. She keeps calling him Calvin. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, no, that was funny. Yeah, because the whole Calvin Klein thing. That's a nice little ad for them. It's a subtle ad for them.
That's true.
Yeah.
So he meets up with Doc.
So one thing I got to say about the mom thing too, like his mom was giving that same Patrice energy from like Coming to America, where she's just so horny that she can't control herself. I'm like, you just met this dude, and you're just like, oh, you look good with your pants off. Like, like I was like, I've never seen a guy with. I'm like, you just dude just came in off the street. Like, calm down.
Like, Marty McFly, man, he's a good looking dude.
My goodness, man, like. That shit maybe was hilarious, but I was just like, "Yo, chill out, man."
The only like defense I'll have for her too is that like her mom's super strict, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like she's
like
she doesn't get to have this situation with boys a lot. So she's like, "Well, boy, and like he's in my house, in my room. Like, this is my chance." I don't know, but you're right. She was thirsty.
The one thing I gotta say about this before you say the Doc thing too, and I'm letting people know that Marty McFly is not my MVP for the for the scene alone of him looking at his mom and him saying, "You're so thin." That's not what he wanted to say, and that disturbed me to my core. I'm like, Marty, what were you about to say about your mom? What were you about to say about your mom, dog? That is
saying you're really pretty.
I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with saying your mom's pretty.
Thin is not talking about how pretty she looks.
Yeah.
That's not where he was looking. That got me, I was like, yo, Marty, chill out, man.
Yeah, you're right. There's a
lot of sus moments with him.
You're right. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this movie. I wonder if this movie came out today, like how that stuff would have been received.
I think I feel like they'd play the comedy up in that even more. Because I think it was still funny the way they played it up. But to me, it was more subtle the way they did it. And I think if you do those scenes, maybe they would have played up even more. Because to him, it was funny. But I was just like, Dog, I just kept shaking my head. I'm like, it's your mom,
because
dog.
he
It's your mom.
knows, right? Like she doesn't
Yeah.
know, so like she is not doing anything wrong. She just sees like a boy. She's like, oh, that's a good looking
Yeah.
boy. Like I'm interested. Nothing wrong, but he
Mhm.
knows that's his mom. So that's like, what are you doing, Marty? Come on, bro. So he meets up with Doc. He tells him about the whole bolt of lightning thing that so we're
Yeah.
like, okay, this is how we're gonna get back to the future, basically. You know,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna
Mhm.
do this. And it was a cool setup too, like the way before he left, he got the flyer for the clock tower, and then his girl wrote her number down on it. So this is why he has the
Oh yeah,
page. Like
true.
the way all this worked out, I was like, oh, okay, that's I like that little callback. It was a good setup.
Even just the him like telling, like him convincing him how, like that he actually is from the future. It was from that little story he told about how like, oh, I had like an idea when I slept on a toilet, and he was like, oh, well, no, I remember you told me. I know this thing happened to you in 1955 where you slept on a toilet, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh snap, you are telling the truth. Because before that, he didn't believe him. Everything he said just sounded crazy. Like, oh, JFK is the president. Like, oh, the actor, like Ronald Reagan, the
Yeah,
actor is
Reagan.
just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
oh,
That
right,
was
yeah,
funny, man. He was like, who's the vice president? Jerry Lewis? I thought
yeah,
Marty was, or not Marty, Doc was really funny. Like he
yeah. No,
played
he
that
was
over the
funny.
top, wild scientist. It was great.
Yeah.
He's just so like his eyes are wide in every single shot. That
Mhm.
poor guy would have rested his eyes after every single shoot day. Jesus
Oh,
Christ. But
100%.
like the crazy hair, like everything is just so on the nose. It's so good. But I actually read that
Yeah.
Reagan, when he watched the movie, he liked that joke, and apparently he ordered like the theater that he was at to run back the movie and start it over again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
That's
so
hilarious.
arrogant. Like
That
what
is
the?
so arrogant.
Everybody in this theater, we're watching it again so I could hear that joke another time. That's crazy.
That is wild. I didn't see that. That's funny though.
And we get Doc 1.21 gigawatts. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so good, bro.
Yeah, no, he was so like electric when when he's delivering his lines.
Hey,
I
good pun.
apologize. I keep coughing.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, bro?
I don't know.
1.21 gigawatts. How am I gonna create such power? Oh, it's so good, man. He's just
Oh no, it's
crazy.
great. It's great. I gotta. There's one thing I gotta call back to. It just reminded me too. Like as we were talking about the whole time travel and like him coming when he first came back. Now I'm throwing it back just for a quick second.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't you think it was funny how that the not only the family that sees him like when they're shooting at him and stuff, like immediately the kid shows, hey, look, he's like an alien from this comic I'm reading, and the dad is immediately convinced and just starts firing away, like he just immediately believes it. And then
Yeah.
the old couple that on the road, he's like, hey, can I get some help? She's like, keep driving, keep driving. I'm like, yo, you guys never seen someone just in a suit before?
Yeah, you're right. That was they overreacted I mean, I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the dad because he shows up like in the DeLorean,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it's like crashing, the doors open up like, he
yeah.
thinks it's a spaceship, so he's but you're right, that couple driving, that doesn't make any sense. But I was also thinking, I was like, Marty, take off the fucking helmet.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
bro, he's running through the barn and he's tripping over stuff, and then he's trying to drive and he has to keep like lifting the helmet up so he can see him. Like, bro, just take it off. What are you doing? Like, why do you still have it on?
I don't know, man. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But yeah,
So then,
bring it back. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
now they're
So
going to the school.
yeah, exactly. So because he literally is like, okay, I gotta get my parents together because he messed the whole thing up. His dad didn't me, so the doc tells him he's got to get his parents back together. And then so he goes to school, and Biff is grabbing up on his mom again.
Oh my
Craziness.
goodness.
She's like, no, like literally push him away again. Where are the teachers?
Yeah,
Like
he's
they're
like,
in school and he's grabbing at her. She's like, no, get off me.
yeah, he's just no. He's like, you're gonna like. I'm like, yo, what? Yeah, like he said, where are this principal's so quick for tardies, but he's nowhere to be seen for sexual harassment throughout this movie.
He was there right when Biff was about to fight Marty. He was
Yeah,
about to, because Marty steps in and then he's about to fight him, and then the
yeah, that's
principal's
true.
there. But if you're grabbing on that girl, she says, no, hey, I didn't see nothing.
Yeah,
I didn't
nowhere
see
to
a
be
thing.
seen.
That's messed up, dude. But I found it funny that Biff,
Mhm.
instead of fighting Marty, he's like, oh man, I'll give you a warning, blah, blah, blah. How about you make like a tree and get out of here?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, what? That actually popped me out. I was like, I get this as a joke, but like, what? What?
Yeah, I know.
Is he that stupid? Like, what does that even mean? It made me laugh, dude.
Yeah, no, I thought that was hilarious too. Because like, and even everyone was kind of like, Marty was even looking at him like, okay, you didn't say that right, but you're letting me go, so.
What was he like? I thought for a second. I was like, did I hear that wrong? Like, I thought about it. I was like, get out of here. Like, was there the word wood or leaf in there or something? I was like,
Yeah.
no, this literally makes no sense. I was racking my brain trying to get the joke, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, I know that.
And then so we got back to the diner.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get his dad to ask his mom out. And so he pulls up to ask her out. And he's like,
Yeah.
well, let me get a chocolate milk. Slaps the and slides over. He downs. I was like, yo, this is sick. You had a badass moment there. I was like, okay, George.
Yeah, I thought that scene was hilarious too. Just like, yo, give me a milk. Trying to act all hard.
Slaps the fucking bar. The way it slides in, because it comes from out of shot, it just slides in. He just grabs it, downs it. I was like, this is amazing. This dude that had no confidence throughout the whole other movie is like, I'm a badass right now. He gets power from not the power, but the confidence to go ask the girl out.
Yeah,
He
and
fumbles.
that all comes from like that little goofy moment of just like Marty scaring him in his sleep. And then saying like he's like, I am Darth Vader. And it's like that's like the fun thing of like with time travel movies too, where it's just like he can say all these things that don't exist yet. So he can come and be like, I am Darth Vader. And and Darth Vader doesn't even exist yet. So he's just like, oh snap, Darth Vader.
And he mixed Star Trek and Star Wars together because I'm Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan. And I'm like, okay, dude, like this is he's just throwing out names. But you're right, like that nobody knows what that is. So it's a great way to make jokes for the audience.
Yeah, no,
because we know what these are, but no one in the time does. So yeah, it's always it's a great way to make a joke. Like there's just the opportunity is there to make that joke for in any kind of way. So at any time they do it, it's like it's great in the dance later when he starts playing the guitar, and the guy calls his cousin.
Oh yeah,
he's like, oh, you know that sound? Like this is it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. What a great joke. They're saying that he got his song from this white kid that's playing his song from the future.
Yeah, exactly.
I think about it. Is that a paradox? Because wouldn't he have had Chuck Berry?
Yeah.
Wouldn't he have had to have made the song for Marty to have known the song to bring it back to play it for him to? How does you know what I mean? What do you mean? I don't know.
Oh, like is he messing with time in that sense?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did mess up time, like as you saw how the movie ended.
Yeah.
He did too much nonsense. Yeah, that shit does come back to you. This man made himself invent rock and roll. He invented skateboarding. This man brought up, you know what I mean? He did a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, you're right. I don't even gotta look too into it. It was a great joke, great callback. Yeah, you're right. That dynamic in a time travel movie just works every time.
No, but like you're saying though, like you're saying that isn't a paradox though, but like I don't think directly that Chuck Berry thing messed with it, but like it kind of ties into the fact that like as the trilogy keeps going, like he changed a lot of things in the movies in 1955 that definitely would have a butterfly effect. It's like you can't just go back in time and just create things. You know what I mean? I can't go back and just freaking do and drop All Eyes on Me, the album, and then act like
who's Tupac? Never heard of him.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never heard of him. But I mean, it's not like he came back and kept a low profile. This dude was skateboarding around the block, like Zip was, and his boys were trying to chase him. The whole town saw him. He was at the dance, like playing the guitar on stage, like this. Everybody knew he was there, and he had a whole lot of impact on what was going on in the future. But like, if he came back, kept it cool, got his parents back together under the radar, just got them to kiss at the dance, sneak out. But then we have no movie, and this is what just makes it so exciting. It's great.
Exactly. No, 100%. And he ruined his own experience too, because if he didn't follow his dad and just left him be, everything would have been fine,
Facts. That's a good point.
He went to save his dad. But like, I guess he wasn't paying attention. Clearly wasn't paying attention at the dinner table of like how they met. And then no, actually no, they know the story because even the daughter was like, "Yeah, we know. You've told the story so many times. So why did he save his dad? He knows that his dad gets hit by the car, and then that's how he meets his mom. So why did he save him? He just, I
You're
guess
right.
he just instinctually, someone's about to hit by a car, you save them, but he messed it up.
You're right. I think also he doesn't understand time travel,
That's true.
right? It's not like he's a scientist. He's just
That's
just
true.
saving his dad. Like he doesn't understand that this messes up the future. Like he doesn't get it. But you're right, he did mess it up. And he messes it up too by continuing to go nuts. Like when he grabs the when he defends his mom from Biff,
Yeah.
grabs the skateboard, goes around, gets them to fall into this or the manure truck to go on them, and they're like, "Oh, Marty, he's such a dreamboat." I'm like, bro, stop upstaging your dad.
I know
Like you're
that.
trying to get your dad to get this girl, and you keep flexing on him every chance you get. Stop it, dude. Like, of course you already know she's into you, and then you're just gonna do all this shit around town, grab a skateboard. You're like, bro, you're upstaging your dad at every turn. Stop it.
And to add on to that, not only did he save her in the calf, not only did he defend her and show up Biff and all that stuff, he also comes to school. And this is a spoiler. I'm not gonna say which outfit, but he comes correct every single time. He's always wearing the flyest outfits. I'm like, dog, just dress like a modern kid. Just humble. You come through, you're slicking your hair back. I'm like, bro, you're doing a lot, Marty. Don't act like you don't want
Yeah,
attention, man.
Marty McFly, worst wingman of all time, bro. Like he's literally his only job in the movie is to be a wingman to his dad, and he's flexing on every. You're right. He's swagged out all the time. He's doing all this crazy, like getting up and playing the guitar in front of the whole school, and then he starts doing this crazy solo even when the rest of the band stops. Like, dude,
That's what I'm saying.
what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. He's doing way too much for a guy that's trying to blend in.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're totally right. So then we get to the dance.
Yeah.
So we got the plan. Him and his dad's gonna pull up and be the big hero. Biff does the wild shit.
Oh
He
yeah.
jumps in the car, so he gets locked in the trunk. What were your thoughts on this the dance scene?
I mean, I was thinking this too because we were saying how like I don't know if this aged well in the sense, but if anything, I feel like it. I guess I'd have to show it to one of my younger sisters and see. Okay, again, I apologize. I keep coughing, man, but I don't know. I got this cough coming up, but I feel like it still works in the sense of Biff's a terrible person, right? It'd be
Yeah.
one thing if like this was a character we're supposed to somewhat like, or maybe supposed to be like a funny character, but like no, Biff is just a terrible person. So the fact that he's trying to like assault her, I feel like it still ages well in the sense of like, no, you're not supposed to like this guy. I feel like someone would be like, yo, that's messed up. I'm like, yeah, that's a messed up dude. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to like that guy anyway. I think his dad peeping doesn't age well because I think that was probably supposed to be played at like, oh, it's funny. He's just like he's a little pervert teenager, but like he was doing a lot though to be a pervert, so that didn't really
Exactly.
age
Yeah,
that well.
binoculars straight into the window. Don't do that.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be rooting for this guy to get the girl,
exactly,
so it's like,
yeah.
yeah. So that I maybe didn't age as well, but the Biff thing, I'm like, it's messed up, and it really makes you like. You can't like this guy because even if you said like to make like a tree and get out of here, it's a funny line. But spoiler alert, like this guy, he's not getting many of my awards because he's too wild in this movie for to be like, yeah, my MVP or my sick man goes to Biff. No, it's just maybe
fuck that guy.
Yeah, maybe actually, guys, I don't know. Maybe I might have just called out Scott. He's like, oh, shit, let me change my
Hey, I'll let you know when we get there. I'm not gonna
But yeah,
spoil.
no, I thought it was a good setup of like you actually have like this bad like character that you don't like, and it's set up really well where you're really rooting for these guys because like yeah, Biff maybe have some like funny moments here and there, but like I liked how that. What about you though? How'd you like
Yeah,
this
no, it
whole
was.
dance?
I think it's a good way of kind of not setting up, but it's indicative of the times too, right?
Yeah,
Like it's not like yes, we go back in 30 years, so we're in the 50s. So there's all these like funny things about they don't know his fast. Everyone says, "Oh, are you a sailor?" Like all these
yeah,
kind of funny things about the times. But this is a more serious thing that like in the 50s I would imagine be more realistic. Like people like women did not have the the rights and they were not considered equals
That's
like,
true.
like they where we're at today. So like, have people peeping and jumping in a car and taking advantage of women. Like, I'm sure it happened. Like, it's still wild in a movie like this
Yeah,
because, like you said, it's a teen movie. It's not really meant to
like a
go deep into
drama,
these kind of
like like a
themes.
deep drama. Yeah,
Yeah, but I feel like it is at least realistic. Not that it's a good thing, but it is
no, for sure.
realistic.
You know what's funny? I didn't really think about that too. Like, it is supposed to be the 50s, but I didn't really like they play on that a little bit of like with gold, like the guy that ends up being like is running for mayor like in the 80s, but
Yeah,
he's there
yeah,
in the 50s, and they're like, oh yeah, a colored president or a colored mayor, good luck.
right.
And it's like,
Yeah,
oh, it's kind of good that they at least acknowledge that. You know what I mean? They don't have to call him the N-word or anything in the movie, but
right.
but at least, and then we get some other racist moments in the movie too, where it's like, okay, that's realistic. That's realistic with the times. You don't go too crazy with it. Even with the mom thing, like they show these things like this is kind of how it was. They try to be comical with it in their ways, and then like the people that are bad in those moments, like they're not celebrated or anything like that.
Yeah. No, no, yeah, exactly. You're right. Like the band, like when they pull up to the band, like there's all the little racist remarks, and you're right. And the mayor thing, I noticed that too. I was like, oh, it's a good kind of in between. Like I like that they acknowledge it, like you said, but they don't have to go too crazy with it.
Yeah,
But it's cool that they even acknowledged it. And one thing I had to say with the dance, like when the band takes a break,
yeah,
like right when we get to the dance they're playing, they're like, okay, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back in a while. And it just made me think like now that never happens, right? Like there's music constantly playing at a dance or a club or whatever.
yeah,
But like think about when that was a thing. Like there's only live music and you're at a dance and then the band goes away. Like what do you do?
yeah. I was thinking that too.
There's
Yeah,
no music. Like what do you do in that time?
yeah, that's so true. What were they doing? Everyone just in the area, just talking in silence. Well, I guess it'd just
Yeah.
be it'd be a constant like hum, be like a cafeteria, I guess. It'd still be weird though because
But it
like
would
you
kill
came to
the
a
whole
dance.
vibe, dude.
No, that's true.
Like imagine you were just you went to a girl, you were talking to her, you started dancing, things were going well, and the band's like, all right, we're gonna take a break. You're like, oh shit, dude, I was doing so good. Like me
Yeah.
and this girl, we were
No, that's
vibing,
true.
I was spitting game. We
That's
started
true.
dancing, and now you're gonna cut. Damn.
That's that's so true. I didn't even take that's a good thought. I didn't even think about that. That's true. Yeah, that's a big period too. Well, we don't know how long they're on break for, but even if it's like 5 minutes, it's still long enough.
It's enough to kill like could you imagine you're in a club and the music just stops for 20 minutes?
Oh my
That
goodness.
would be horrible. Like
And
what
even worse if the lights turned on.
that's it. Yeah, dude, but like like it just kills the entire vibe. Like, what do you even do? There's people all around you. Like, what? The whole point is that this music is going, and this is the vibe of the situation. I don't know. You turn the music off in a club. That nobody wants to be there. That sounds horrible.
That's so true. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That's a good
The other thing I liked it when George like confronts Biff, and he
Mhm.
comes up. He's like, "Oh shit, this was supposed to be Marty."
Yeah, yeah.
But it's Biff, but then he still does it. One shot knocks him out. I was
Oh yeah.
like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know. I was like, where
Hey,
was all
Mr.
that?
McFly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He's got
That's
the
good question. Where was that? If you had this the whole time, I guess he had to like actually get angry about it, like because he was actually with the girl and he was like, no, leave me alone. Like don't worry about this. Just close the door, walk away. And he's like, nah, I gotta defend this girl. But that could have been the same thing in the cafeteria, I guess.
yeah, it
Where did he
wasn't
get
enough though.
this
Wasn't
this
enough.
juice?
I mean, it was pretty extreme. That was like Biff was doing a lot. He was
Yeah.
literally holding her down. So he was like, nah, I gotta do something here. I gotta have some balls, bro.
Yeah. One shot KO. I was like,
Yeah, which is
tough.
crazy. Yeah, friggin' before Mike Tyson, man. Jesus.
That was tough. But then,
Before
but then
Muhammad
you,
Ali.
but you do that. Then you go to the dance. You start dancing with the girl, and then a guy steps in and says, "No, I'm stepping in. Move aside."
Yeah, yeah, I
Like you
know.
just knocked out Biff. Like shouldn't you be high? Be like, oh, I'll fight anybody. Like so you're down to do that, but you're not gonna fight this guy. And
Yeah, I
she's
know.
asking you for help. She's like, George, you need help. He just walks away. Like what? How come in one case you were like, no, I'm knocking this dude out, and in the other case you're just gonna walk away? What the hell?
And that dude was significantly smaller than Biff too.
Good point.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't, again, that whole scene just kills me too because it's just so it's messed up, but it's so comical. It's a perfect mix of like because I can't get over the way that dude was maniacally laughing. I'm like, dog, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you're stealing a girl
I
and she
got
doesn't
it.
want anything to do with you, and you're laughing.
Yeah, that's messed up.
I don't understand.
But yeah, every guy in this movie is horrible. Every single one, except for Marty, I guess. But literally every dude is terrible.
Yeah, well, Marty's got a weird thing with his mom. That's the only thing I have against
Yeah, that's a
Marty.
good. That's
I
a
just
good
don't.
point.
The only thing I'll give him is when I'm glad the way he reacted. And that it made me laugh too. When she was for someone that, like, you say her mom is probably restricting. He's like, yeah, he could stay, and he could stay in my room. And she grabs his thigh, and he's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
home. I'm like, good, get out of there. Don't even think about it. Don't even be like, well, she's so thin. I don't know. Like, you know
No,
what I
that's your
mean?
mom, bro.
That's get the hell out of there.
Yeah, you don't want to be there. But even in the car, like she starts drinking slowly and she's leaning into him. And she's like,
Yeah.
you should have like opened the door and be like, oh, sorry, like you know what I mean? Like you're not trying to get with her anyways. So you shouldn't worry about, because even when like she's drinking and smoking, he's like, oh, you drink, you smoke, and she's like, oh, you sound like my mom. Like this, if you were spitting at a girl and you wouldn't want to do that, right? You
Yeah,
wouldn't want
no,
to kill the vibe,
exactly.
but like you're not trying to get with this girl.
Yeah.
You don't gotta worry about any of that, dude. Like,
that's what
and then she starts kissing him, and she's the one that stops. It's like, I feel like I'm kissing your brother. It's like, dude, stop her. This is your mom kissing you. What are you doing?
Put a stiff arm her, bro. Like, he didn't try hard enough.
Not at all.
That's why I was like, you said every guy in this movie sucked us up, Marty. I'm like, no, he sucks in some moments, bro. In some moments, like, it's the thin moment and it's that car moment. I'm like, dog, what are you doing? Put up more fight. She's like 110 pounds.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, I guess only Doc doesn't suck.
yeah, there you go.
Does Doc do anything crazy? I guess he uses his dog. He tests with his
Yeah,
dog.
that's pretty wild. Yeah.
Damn it, Doc. Bro, everybody sucks, man. Damn it. I'm trying to find some good people in this movie. Everybody's horrible.
We're both just scratching away our 6-man and MVPs now. It's
Yeah,
like
seriously.
I mean, there is women in this movie, but
Yeah.
there's not that many of them have significant roles. But
No. Just
to
his
be
mom,
honest.
really.
Yeah, really, that's true.
Yeah. So then we get out of the dance. He gets them together. So he's got to time travel back now. So we get the whole scene with the clock tower and the lightning bolt. Everything that can possibly go wrong does go wrong. You know, the tree
100%.
falls and all this shit with Doc. What'd you think of the scene?
Yeah, it was funny, like you said, like everything that could go wrong possibly could, like that could go wrong does go wrong. I like the whole thing, the whole dynamic too of like the note too, because like throughout the movie, Marty constantly wants to tell him what happens in the future, and he's like, no, then he writes him a note, and again I like that part, how the fact that he finds the note too, so it's like another added thing of like, nah, I'm not reading it, I'm ripping it up. He's like, ah, shit. He's like, let me just tell you. And he's like, nah, like don't tell me. I liked that dynamic too, because I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting dynamic of having it.
Do you think you'd be able to tear up the note, or you wouldn't want to see, like, if I handed you a note right now that had some information, like he doesn't know what it is, right? He's like, oh, I have to tell you something, and he keeps saying, no, don't tell me. So if I tell you I have to tell you something, and in this note it has that thing in 30 years, if you know, like, it could mess up something, or you know what I feel like, you can't resist that urge to look at the note.
I feel like it's that one thing too. It's not exactly the same thing. It's kind of similar of like when people say like, "Oh, if you knew when you were gonna die, would you want to know?" And it's like that. It's a little bit different, but in that sense, I wouldn't want to know. Or maybe
The death thing.
Yeah, the death thing, because then your life is kind of like weird at that point. Then, you know what I mean?
I feel like that could never happen though, because like say you told me I was gonna die in 2050,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, but what if I just like jump off my roof onto my head?
Yeah, no, it's true.
I'm not gonna die. Like,
No, that's true.
Like, does that mean I'm invincible? Like, because if I knew that, then I would just go and do like whatever the hell I wanted and not worry about a damn thing, because I'm like invincible. But it wouldn't actually turn you invincible. You know what I mean? So I feel like that wouldn't even work.
No, it's true. But you just be nervous about like where, because if it's like, okay, I know I'm gonna live for 30 years, but I'm gonna die like in a mall parking lot, right? But then it's just like then every decision you make is kind of like hindered now. Like you would have just lived your life, and like now maybe you won't live 30 years now because now you went a different way.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why it would just mess with you. I feel like just the psychology of it would just mess with your head. No matter if it's good, hey, dude, in 30 years you're gonna be a millionaire. It's like, shit, don't tell me that, because now I might start thinking of all these different ways I can make the money, and I might pick the thing that's actually not gonna work now. If you didn't tell me that, I would have just found the thing that through different inspiration. Now you're telling me, now I'm thinking it's the thing I'm doing right now, but maybe it's supposed to be the next thing, and I'm putting too much energy. You know what I mean? So you
Right.
just mess with your head. No matter if it's
Yeah.
good or bad. I feel like, so I just be like, don't tell me anything, bro. Just let me just let me
So if
live.
I gave you the note, you'd rip it up?
Yeah, probably.
It's tough. It's so hard to say. Like,
It
it's
is
hard
tough to say.
to say that. Like, in theory, be like, you're right. Like, if I knew this, then it could change everything. Blah blah blah. But if you physically had it, you're like, well, this is literally information from the future about my life. Like, oh my god. Like, wouldn't it's tough.
No, it is.
It's
If I
tough.
was real serious, I'd have to burn it. Because as we see
Yeah.
later, the ripping it is
Yeah.
not really a
Doesn't work.
certified. It doesn't really work. Burning it is surefire, because it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
now I really won't be able to know. But ripping it is just like, ugh. But no, I
The-
really did like the scene though. The whole like that whole like last scene was just great.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Like Doc climbing up on top, getting the wire back connected, and then it disconnects on the bottom. And
Yeah.
Marty, like, the car does, bro, they gotta fix this starter, dude.
Oh my
And
goodness, man.
every single time they need the machine, the starter folds. What are they doing, man?
I don't know, man.
What's
I
going
don't know.
on here?
In their defense, it's like you don't really. They're just getting used to this time travel thing, so like it's just a regular car that they souped up. It's not like they made it for time travel. So, but yeah, no, they do need to fix that up,
Bro,
They do.
like, every time it's like right when you need it, it doesn't start. But also, like, because he drove it back to the starting point,
Yeah,
why did he turn it off?
yeah, I know that's true. I don't know, dramatic effect.
It-
So
God damn it,
honestly,
Marty.
I honestly don't know why he did do that. It's a good question, honestly.
So yeah, so he gets back, obviously gets back to the future, the
Yeah.
whole lightning strike. It's great. Like, I've seen this before, like the whole moment of Doc plugging it in, like, right
Yeah.
at the perfect time. I didn't get the whole, like, pole on the car that has to hook, but, like,
Yeah.
I just think the whole setup, I think that's one of the things I really like and that was really well done in this movie, is how everything, like, sets up and makes sense. Like, everything is,
Yeah.
like, one thing leads to the next. Like, how did they get back? How did Marty accidentally get back to the future? Oh, well, he's running from these terrorists that are shooting at him. Makes sense. You know, how did they get the information for the lightning bolt? Oh, he had the flyer in his pocket. Perfect setup. Like, everything is set up perfectly, and then the post on the back of the car that's got a hook onto the thing, and it's perfect. It's just, everything works so well in this movie. It's great.
Oh no, it really does. And you know what the funny thing is, too? Did you hear about what they originally wanted to do with the ending?
I don't think so. No.
The event was not supposed to be a lightning strike. It was so much more extreme. They wanted the gigawatts, however many it was. They wanted that.
1.21 gigawatts.
They wanted that energy to come from an atomic bomb.
Jesus.
That was their initial plan. They were gonna set up a whole, like, imagine the whole scene in freaking the Manhattan Project in Oppenheimer. They wanted to set that up, and the bomb was gonna drop, and that explosion was gonna be the energy powered for them to go back in time. And I was like, wouldn't that destroy the city or whatever?
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't affect the future. How would that have no impact on the future? It'll blow up a whole city. What the hell?
I'm curious to see that original script, because that was their original plan. They were gonna drop an atomic bomb.
Well, I bet you that's why they went away from it, or one of the reasons, I guess. Budget was probably a big reason they went away from it.
Yeah, they
too.
said
Like,
they said getting rid of that shaved off $6 million.
yeah, 100%. I believe it, definitely. But
But
I
I'm like,
what?
that's oh yeah.
Well, I was gonna move on to the next thing. Go ahead. Yeah, what
No,
you?
I was just gonna say, like, that, like, $6 million, like, like, what did they, like, how this, where were they gonna do this bomb? Like, how far away from the city were they gonna be? Like, that's my main thing. Like, an atomic bomb.
Yeah.
Like,
And where would they have gotten an atomic bomb?
that's what
Would
I'm
Doc have made
saying.
one? Like, you don't just go and get like a lightning bolt hooked up to a clock tower. Like, you could easily do that. You know, you get some wire, and that's very reasonable and feasible. Where are you gonna get an atomic bomb?
I don't know.
I guess the movie would have gone in a different direction and they would have ended up with one somehow. But
I guess so.
that's
But
a big jump.
it is a big jump, and clearly that's like they don't want their market to be big in Japan if that's how they want to freaking if that's how they want to
Yeah.
do the movie, because like that's wild. We're
That's
far removed in the 80s. We're far removed from the atomic bomb drop, but still, it's just like
Yeah,
it seems so unnecessary to have an atomic. They didn't need it to be an atomic
absolutely.
bomb. We could have done something else, and thankfully they did do something else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because what I was gonna say was that for the time machine, one
Yeah.
of the like originally they had an object, like a non-moving object, it was like a refrigerator.
Oh, really?
Was one of the thoughts
Yeah.
of what they were gonna have the time machine as, but Spielberg actually nixed it because he was afraid that kids would like climb in
Oh, inside
refrigerators.
refrigerators. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like some Narnia shit. That's what I'm imagining. They just go into it
Mm.
like it's Narnia, and then they just be in a different
Yeah, I
time,
guess
I
so.
guess. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
not
don't
as-
know
that's not
exactly
as
how it
fun.
would. Yeah. Yeah, I
'Cause
don't know
that-
exactly how it would work, but
Yeah, we need to see that original script, yo. Where the Bobs at?
yeah.
Get the Bobs to get the original script.
A refrigerator and an atomic bomb. How would they have set that up? Yeah.
I don't know. There's
This
another
is-
thing. Yeah, but keep it going. Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how they would.
Well, I was because now we get back.
To the
Marty
present.
gets back to the 80s,
Yeah.
and we reveal that Doc had the bulletproof vest, like he said. He taped together the note.
Mhm.
Did you? Well, this was my first time watching it,
Yeah.
so I didn't expect this. I thought, when Marty comes back, he runs back, he sees the whole scene taking place, then he sees his past self go into the past,
Yeah.
and he sees Doc there laying on the ground. I thought he was gonna go grab him and like take him to the hospital or something, or
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna maybe try and time travel again, or
Mhm.
I didn't expect a bulletproof. I didn't think he kept the note.
Yeah. I remember what my thoughts were as a kid, and I
Oh,
thought
okay.
that it was gonna be a situation like, at least on the second. Well, actually, no. I remember thinking that like Doc is just dead, and I think it's one of those messages of like, when it's somebody's time, it's somebody's time. You know what I mean? Like, add like a little bit of a serious moment in like a comedy movie where it's like when it's someone's time, it's someone's time. But it's
Yeah.
funny how like in the end it was just like, nah, it's not my time.
No, I'm going at 30 years ahead, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, no, I got to see the future, dude. Which is kind of crazy because his past self was like, no, I don't want to hear about the future.
Yeah,
Don't
I
tell me
know.
nothing about the future. And now he's like, I got a time machine. I'm going to see the future, bro.
Exactly. And the hilarious thing is that the future is 2015.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember like on that day, I read that I didn't read about anything super crazy, but I read that like on social media, like everybody was talking about
Yeah.
Back to the Future. I don't
I
know if
remember that
anybody,
too.
if if there were parties or if somebody did something, there
Mm.
must have been some
Oh, for sure.
stuff that went down, but I don't remember.
No, I remember that moment too, because I was like, oh man, that's crazy. I remember that happened in Terminator 2, because I think the future in the Terminator was like 2012 or something like that. It is so funny to see them. And in their defense, you don't know. You know what? When
Yeah.
you're talking about like literally like 30 or 40 years in the future, you're like, maybe it is gonna be crazy. Who knows?
Yeah,
'Cause-
flying cars and all this stuff, like they
'Cause
had the
even-
flying cars and we were like, bro, that was 9 years ago. We are still nowhere near flying cars. So they
No,
were
yeah,
they were way off. But you're right, like they can't know.
No, for sure. And like even like the concept of what we're doing right now, I think is even strange to people. They'll be like, oh, only Howard Stern could do what you guys are doing. You know what I mean? Like the way we're talking.
Oh, like
and stuff
doing
like,
a podcast?
yeah, basically. I mean, Howard Stern wasn't really a podcast. He did interview people, but it was more of like radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no podcast. It was just radio. If you're doing this, you were radio. You know what I mean?
right.
That's
It
just
was
like
live.
there's just so many different like things that like AI. You know what I mean? Like there's so much. I think
Yeah,
the
and
flying
it's-
cars thing really comes down to it's like, do we really need that? Because it's like at the end of the day, we make the cars flying, and we still gotta have traffic and stuff. It just be in the air. You know what I mean? We're just regulating things to in the air.
Yeah, but
'Cause-
then you could move in 3 dimensions, so you wouldn't necessarily have to have traffic.
Well, I
You
guess
know, I could be higher than you, or you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't have to travel on roads.
that's
You could
true, but
fly.
it still have to be structured in a way, though. There'd still be some kind
Yeah.
of structure, and there'd still be. I think there'd be sky roads because there's still planes and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'd
Yeah, I
still
guess
have
so.
to be regulated in a way where it's just like, is there a point in this?
But would there still be planes? If I had a flying car, what do I need a plane for?
I feel like that's a lot of gas, though. How far are you trying to get?
Okay, but would you rather pay, a couple tanks of gas or a plane ticket?
I guess, but are you going to freaking? Are you going overseas on a car?
Oh yeah, true.
That's what I mean. I mean, like far, like yeah. I guess if you're going within your country, sure. I mean, I say that, but like we're in Canada, like going across the country is just like it's basically like going overseas.
Still a lot, yeah.
Yeah, because Canada's so damn big. But
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. Or if you could just throw a couple cans of gas in the trunk so you could like stop somewhere and refill and then keep going. I don't know. I mean, obviously we don't know because it doesn't
yeah,
exist,
no,
but
exactly, no, 100%. I just realized that I think we just came out as Canadians. I don't think we ever mentioned we're Canadians before. We just
no?
we
Oh,
just
well.
came out. Just to let you guys know if you're not
Yeah.
you didn't know
Well,
we're
we are from
Canadians.
Canada. And I
We just
mean, well, spoiler, I guess it's not a spoiler, but we will be going to TIFF.
oh
I was
true.
mentioned now we're going to TIFF, so that'll be we'll have a TIFF special when
Yeah,
that
true.
is in a couple weeks.
When this comes out, now I think when this comes out, we'll be going to TIFF that weekend. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that'll be the week after this episode, basically. Whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. We haven't decided what we're doing for it yet, but we're going to do
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
We can't
Yeah.
really talk about the movies though because we're seeing them ahead of time before they even come out, so we can't really talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, but we're doing small movies, so I don't know if
That's
people.
true.
I mean, all we have to do is throw a spoiler warning, and then if someone wants to listen, they can. If they don't, they don't.
That's true. That's true.
So,
100%.
but yeah, TIFF special is coming, guys. So yeah, well, you're right. We are in Canada, so like that's I don't know. That wasn't a secret from me. I don't know if you were trying to get people.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was funny because I just realized like I feel like that's probably the first time we mentioned Canada.
Yeah,
But
no, you're probably right. So then we see Marty's family. Now they're rich, and because his dad's selling books, and
oh yeah, true.
all this has changed. Doc scoops up him and his girl Jennifer because they got to go to the future. And
Yeah.
like I said, this is my first time watching this, so I haven't seen the second or third, but I'm assuming this sets up the sequel.
Yeah.
But that's interesting that they set up a sequel right away on the first movie. Like,
I
did they
know.
plan the sequel like right away? Do you know?
I actually don't know, but that's ballsy though. It is
Yeah.
ballsy. It works as its own movie though. If you think about this, if you said this there wasn't any movies after this, it's kind of like, oh cool, the adventure
You're right.
continues, kind of end. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you don't, and then it just goes like that. But it is pretty ballsy though.
Yeah,
It is pretty ballsy because I don't think they didn't know there was no surefire thing this is gonna work out,
exactly.
especially after them coming off of like because they made the two movies that were no, they made two bombs. They made the one movie that was good, and then the one that they actually wrote a movie for Spielberg and he directed it. It was called 1941, and that bombed, and that was a big deal because that was Spielberg was the guy. Jaws just came out and like it was just hit after hit, and then he came out with a bomb, and they're like, damn, these guys are attached. Or these guys made the guy even have a bomb movie.
Yeah, don't touch these guys.
Yeah, exactly. So for them to set up for a sequel is pretty ballsy. Of like, what if we bomb again? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like when I saw it, I was like, damn, they're right into the sequel. But you're right. Like if the movie didn't do well, or if it was for whatever reason there weren't sequels, it wouldn't ruin the movie. You'd see like, oh, they went into the future. That's cool. I wonder what happened there. So like,
Yeah.
it's not like that's kills the movie or anything, but perfect setup, ballsy, like you said, just to set that up perfectly into the second one.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So yeah, unless you have anything else, or do you have any facts? Give me a fact.
Oh,
Give me
I
a
got
fact.
a bunch. I don't know.
I got a couple. I had to limit a. I got two.
Okay. Well, go. Give me. Actually, well, I have a. This isn't a fact. It was just something I kind of wanted to say about when I was talking about the movies, but I forgot to bring it up, so I'll just bring it up now. I was thinking about just how iconic like the Back to the Future font is, just like the font of the text. You know what I mean? Where it says Back to the Future. Like
Yeah.
there's certain just like title cards that are just hit. Some movies are just like are timeless movies, but they don't necessarily have like a catchy maybe the poster, but the actual font itself. You know what I mean? Like you see that Back
Yeah.
to the Future font. It's one of those fonts where it's like if something else was written there, you'd still know that's Back to the Future versus like other things like
Yeah.
not even shitting on the movie, but like Oppenheimer. If you took the Oppenheimer font and wrote in a different word, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's the Oppenheimer font. You know what I mean? It's like it
Right.
doesn't have like that iconic like font, like, oh, that's the Back to the Future font. And I think I had 5 other movies I feel like fall in this category. I don't know if you can think of any, but I had The Godfather. I feel like that's a classic font.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
got like the little hand,
yeah,
like
yeah.
holding like the thing, and it's Godfather. You have Indiana Jones. That's
Okay,
a classic
yeah.
one.
Yep.
Toy Story.
Yeah.
I feel like the Scarface one is more so you need the background with it of like the white and the black
The
background.
red, like
For,
the
yeah, the contrast that,
You're
and
right.
then Jurassic Park. I feel like you see those. They have like their own. I mean, that literally has like even if you take out the raptor, it's just like the shape of that thing, and then it says Jurassic Park. If you put a different word there and you put a different logo instead of the raptor, you'd be like, oh, that's the Jurassic Park thing. Kind of similar
Yeah.
to the Toy Story thing, where it's like that's the framing for where it just says Toy Story. But
I would
I
say
just
like
think,
Shrek. I don't know if
oh
that
yeah, that's true.
counts. Like the ears on the S.
Yeah,
Like if
that's
something has
true.
ears and it's green, you'd be like, oh shit, that's the Shrek
Nah,
stuff.
that's a good one. Yeah, that's true. That is a good one. But
But
yeah, no,
other than that, yeah, I don't.
yeah, I don't know if Cars is one or Monsters Inc. But yeah, but those are the ones that I have. But
Yeah.
hit me with your facts since I threw that out. That wasn't
Yeah,
a
so
fact,
it's
but
what? Well, one of them was that Michael J. Fox. So
yeah,
he was one like after the movie came out, he was in a jungle, like a remote jungle in the Asian country of Bhutan.
mhm,
So like super secluded.
yeah,
And there was a Buddhist monk that saw him and said Marty McFly.
really,
He was like, people call me McFly all the time. Like it's
yeah,
it's whatever. But he was like, this was the craziest one. That like some
damn,
Buddhist monk in a jungle in Bhutan saw
yeah,
Back to the Future and was
yeah.
like, Marty McFly, that's crazy.
That is wild.
Like I know this movie's legendary, like it's massive, but that's insane.
Yeah, no, that is wild. I mean, yeah, it's the movie made like 20 times its budget. Like I think the budget of
Yeah.
the movie was like 20 million, and then like it made
19
like
million
yeah,
and
then
did
it made
like
like
300
300,
something.
yeah, 380 million. So like it's an
Yeah.
absurd amount of profit on that movie. But yeah, that is crazy that it stretched that far out.
Yeah. I know, right? Where do they even watch movies? That's crazy.
Well, there also is the fact that like people are not a lot of people aren't born monks.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
but maybe it could be that, or maybe he just saw it as a monk. Like I don't know, maybe something came by and someone said, "Yeah, you gotta watch Back to the Future," and he was like, he opened his eyes during meditation and be like,
Yeah. Oh.
snuck away. He's like, I gotta see this shit. You know, everyone
I
keeps
gotta
talking about
watch this movie. That's funny. Hit me with one of yours.
Did you know that Michael J. Fox was originally cast as Marty?
Yeah, that was my other faggot. Go into it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess we could just talk about it in general because like it was Eric like Schultz or something,
Yep.
or yeah, and
Stoltz.
Stoltz, yeah, and they actually shot a bunch of scenes. Like they shot so much of the movie without him, like
Yeah.
with him in it too. And then a lot of the scenes that we see, like they ended up just like doing match cuts and stuff like that, and or just doing close ups. Like some of those, and with keeping that information, and then you kind of go back and watch, like you can see there's so many like scenes of like even at the dinner table when like he's first with his family before he goes back in time. Like whenever anyone's talking, you don't really see that many group shots. You see very much individual shots. So
Yeah.
it can be like, all right, and then here's Marty's shot because now we just have to replace him. Like he was always kind of by himself. He was never like beside them talking to them because it's like, and we don't want to reshoot the whole thing. Let's just do his shots and then just fill them in. And I thought it was done so smoothly. You didn't even really notice it.
No, you're right. I didn't notice it on my watch, and then
Mhm.
like researching it after I found out, and I was like, oh shoot, like I couldn't tell. But there was actually a lot of this movie that, not a lot of this movie, but a lot behind the scenes that kind of were challenges. Like even there was a tight timeline. I mean, I'm assuming the timeline was cut because of this, like because
Mhm.
of the reshoots and the change of it upped the budget. But that meant for visual effects they had a tighter
Oh yeah.
timeline. So because they even said that they were overall really happy with the effects, but the one scene where Marty's looking at his hand and it
Mhm.
starts to disappear, it in the movie when I was watching it, I was like, okay, this looks like shit.
Yeah.
And that was the one that they were like, yeah, we kind of we ran out of time and like we did the
Yeah.
best that we could, but like we ran out of time, and I was like, okay, yeah, that was one that I was like, okay, this looks horrible.
Yeah, it looks a
But
little rough.
like I was saying, like for the times, they were really good. But like one thing I read too about Eric Stoltz, like
Yeah.
going back to what you were saying, was that like even or right after they made the change, like he was fired and Michael J. Fox came in,
Yeah.
like the morale on set got boosted, and because a lot of the crew could tell that like he wasn't really right for the role.
Yeah.
And after they shot some stuff, they told him to leave the sets up. So they were like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. So like
Yeah.
all of this, they kind of knew there was some bad kind of stuff going on. So that it made a big difference on the project.
Oh no, for sure. And like I saw the big thing they were saying too was the fact that he he wasn't taking the tone of the movie right. Like he
Yeah.
like it was supposed to be like a comedy, but he was taking it as like a serious thing. And like I saw his take. Did you see his take on what he thought the movie was and how he thought it was
No.
sad? And I
What?
was like, this is a preface. I don't think it's gonna ruin the movie for anybody in the sense of like, oh no, now I'm only gonna see it like that because it's not like that. It's a fun movie, but he thought that the fact that Marty went back to like like we went back to 1985, right? And now his
Yeah.
life changed, right? Like his parents are now are wealthy, whatever it is, and like everyone's lived all these different experiences. He's saying like, oh, that's kind of sad. Like Marty now has to live in this world where everyone has these memories that he doesn't remember, and he has to pretend the whole time that he knows what they're talking about. And he has to constantly live in this reality where everyone has like these lives that he doesn't know about. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, why you gotta say like that is true. That is
Yeah.
he does kind of have to pretend that for the rest of his life. If you take it as like that, where it's like now he's in this new world, everyone has these different memories that he does not know about.
Yeah.
So he constantly is in this pretend. Like he'll be at school, be his friends, or even his girlfriend probably at some point. It's like, yeah, Marty, remember when we went this? And he's gonna be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like, oh man, that made me think when we did this as kids. He's gonna be like, yeah, yeah. Like that kind of is
Honestly, yeah, you're right. It's an interesting thing to think about. And now that I think about it, it's kind of weird that he even still ended up with his girlfriend. Like the family thing, like
yeah,
that,
that's true.
like you don't choose your family, so that's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
stay the same. But like if you came up rich instead of poor, not poor, but
Yeah.
like middle class or
Yeah.
whatever, he maybe would have gone to a different school. Like he would have, he
Yeah.
just acted differently. And like his dad is a whole different character.
Yeah.
Like he has confidence
Yeah.
and like he's a whole different person. So your bringing up would be totally different. You would be a totally different person. I feel like he wouldn't have even gotten with his girlfriend.
No, 100%. I swear his girl was wearing the same fit too.
Oh, was she? She might have been.
I'm pretty sure she was. In all these years, she did like nothing changed her style.
Well, it's the same year. It's the same time for her.
Yeah, but his clothes changed. Remember, he was wearing like overalls.
Yeah.
He looked like freaking. Well, I don't know who he looked like, but yeah, he even his fit
Urkel?
changed. Yeah,
Wasn't that
Urkel.
bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. That's how I was thinking. When I said I was thinking Urkel, and I was like, nah, he didn't look that bad. I was trying to find another person, but even
Another
he
person with
changed.
overalls. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, even he changed. So I was kind of just like, I thought that was funny. But no, I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting. I was like, that's an interesting take on it. And he even said like in the first scene when Marty went back in time too, he took it as like Marty was kind of like freaking out and like kind of like a comical way, but he took it as more like a sad way, like, oh no, like what is it? And everyone's just like, dog, this isn't the movie, yo. Like
Yeah.
it's supposed to be funny. You're just taking it all
But how does
serious.
like the directors don't tell him this, and he like,
I
or
don't
maybe he was
know.
like they were trying to tell him, and he just wasn't taking. He's like, no, I swear this is what my character would do. Like maybe he was being like that, but like I feel like if you're not getting the tone right, it's a pretty easy fix to be like, dude, you're seeing this as a big, serious and sad situation. It's not. You're a
Yeah.
high school kid. This is a funny. Like there's jokes in the movie. Like, dude, it's
Yeah.
not. Like be more fun and different with it.
No,
Like, why didn't they
100%.
just try telling him that?
I don't know. They're young directors, yo. They're young directors and writers. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They weren't good at telling them how to
Maybe.
characters how to go. But yeah, no, I thought that was interesting too because it's like, yeah, man, I don't understand. Like, read the script, bro. Can't you feel?
Yeah, it's
Can't you
yeah, I don't
understand
know.
tone through the writing? Like, it's not that he's a serious actor, and I get it. It's just, but I feel like there's many examples of guys that do comedy and serious, and they can. It's not like they get stuck in doing one
Right.
thing. I feel like Adam Sandler's a good example. That's the first person I think of where I think he can do. The thing is when he does like more drama movies, his humor changes. It's not more goofy, like like you got tiny. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. exactly. He didn't do that in Uncut Gems or freaking any other like serious or Hustle. Like
Yeah.
Hustle's like it's kind of like a drama movie where it's like he's serious, but like he still has his humor in there, but it's not like, oh, you got a little meat or something like that. You know what I mean? The
Right.
humor is a little more more
It's
thoughtful.
different. Yeah,
it's
it
just
it
different.
goes with the tone of the movie.
Exactly.
Because like what I had read about Eric Stoltz was that they were saying they're not saying he's not a good actor. They're saying he's a good actor in the wrong role. Like
Yeah.
he just doesn't fit that character, which I can
happens.
understand. Like yeah, that happens absolutely. But like I don't know. It's weird to think that he had this idea for what the character is like and the tone of the movie, and no one just tried being like, hey, try to do it a little
Yeah.
more jokey, a little looser, you know, like he
Mhm.
just wouldn't even try it. Like that's just weird to me.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to go too much. Now this is just turning into discussion too, because I'm curious what your thoughts are. Like, I have two more things,
Yeah, go ahead.
and one of them is this George's character. I forget the actor's name. And I always go back and forth with this because I respect an actor that tries to get deep into your character, right? You get deep into the character, so deep that you start feeling like you are the character. You're like, okay, I feel like my character would walk in a room like this. You know what I mean? Or I feel like
Yeah.
would my character wouldn't say that kind of thing. So you give like your pushback, whatever. But apparently, like Marty's dad, like the George character, was such an ass with it though. Like he was always like even like small things, like when they walked into the diner, so that he could say like, "Oh, like I'm your destiny," whatever it is. Yeah, like
Yeah.
apparently, even he was like, "Oh, I don't know if George would walk into the diner that way. Like I don't know if he would use a door." And they're like,
Use a door.
"Yeah," and I was like, that was one of the things they said. They're like, "Yeah," he was like, "I don't know if George would use a door," and they were like, "Okay, well, you need to get in the diner."
Yeah, I
So
was like, what the
yeah,
hell?
yeah, I don't. There's just stupid shit like that where it's just like, or there's scenes when like he keep walking out of frame, and they'd be like, yeah, like I feel like this character would wander. It's like, yeah, but we're shooting a movie, so you need to
Yeah.
stay in frame. It's just like it's stupid shit like that where I'm like, I understand you want to get into the mindset of your character, but I feel like you're just being an asshole at the
Yeah.
same time a little
I
bit.
mean, you gotta work within the parameters, dude.
That's
Like
what I
this is
mean.
like you're right. Like there's room for interpretation and be like, okay, I think maybe he would do this, maybe he would do that, whatever. But like he wouldn't use a door. That doesn't even make sense. And like, yeah, I feel like he would wander. Okay, but dude, like you this is a movie. You have to be on the screen. Like these are just concepts that are non-negotiable. Like it doesn't you just can't change these things. Like there are things about a character you could change. Absolutely. Like you said, you know, I think he would say this a little bit differently, or
Yeah,
you know, I feel like he would actually pause here for a second and not just jump right in. Like, sure, you could
exactly.
try these things, but stuff that doesn't even make sense. Like, what do you do, bro?
That's what I'm saying. And I saw that in like a clip thing, and I was like, oh, an ass, man. And it's like again, I always go back and forth with it. I'm like, I understand you want to like my character wouldn't drink that, or I don't think my character
Yeah.
like fine, sure, these little things. But the wandering thing and the door thing just took me out because I was like, dog, what do you? Does George go through windows? Does he have to peek on
Yeah.
a
Like,
girl
how else
first?
is he
Like, what is he
getting in
gonna
the?
do?
You know, I think my character is actually the Flash, and
Yeah.
he can phase through doors. He wouldn't actually open the door. I'm pretty sure he would just teleport. But hey,
Yeah,
I'm just spitballing here. Sorry.
yeah, I don't know.
That's amazing. What a dick. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Did you have
And I
anything
feel like
else? Oh, go, go, go.
sometimes you have um
Yeah.
like big name actors, you
Mm,
know, that can they have pull and they can suggest, I mean, crazy stuff like that. It still doesn't make sense, but at least from like a big name. But like if you're just some guy, what would they be like, dude, like no. Like just do what's on the script and just
yeah.
walk through the door like a normal like you don't have, you know, if Robert Downey Jr. is like, oh, I think my character wouldn't use a door. Like maybe you'd be like, okay, like
Yeah.
maybe he would open a window, or like you at least play it off and be like, you know what, that's a great point, Robert, and like not actually do it. But like
Mhm.
for someone that's not a big name, you'd be like, dude, shut up. What are you talking about? Just walk through the fucking door.
That's what I'm saying. That was my only thing. I felt like I had to bring that up because I wanted to hear your thought on it too. I figured you'd have a similar thought process, but it's just like sometimes I find it funny when I hear stories like that where it's just like, all
It
right.
doesn't yeah. All right, dude. Like just power hungry. I don't know. It's weird. That's
Yeah, and
just weird.
different directors have different ways of thinking about it. Like I think of like I know a Hitchcock. Hitchcock was wild. Like I like a lot of his movies, and some of his movies still hold up because again, there's no CGI and stuff like that. His movies are different in their tone and stuff, obviously because they're like in the 50s and 60s and stuff like that. Different style of filmmaking, but he had a very messed up depiction of actors. He used to. I
Okay.
remember he said in an interview, he's like I'm the director. Like the actors are just pawns. Like he had no respect for actors. He was just like
Yeah.
this is what I said. You do what I say. I don't give a shit if your character wouldn't walk this way. You're doing it. You're a pawn. I'll get
Yeah.
another one. Which I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
As much as he was a great director, like he had no respect for
Yeah, I
actors.
can.
And Tarantino's the exact opposite because he was actually someone that actually
Yeah.
wanted to be a director and he loves actors. But it's funny hearing that comparison of how
I could see kind of, you know, if you're like, this is my
vision.
vision of what your character is like and what the movie's gonna look like and everything like that. Like Fincher's really like that, right? He's like
Oh
he
yeah, yeah, yeah.
needs everything perfect and does
Mhm.
200 takes of everything so that
Oh yeah,
everything
yeah.
is exactly what his vision
Mhm.
is. But to not, but I don't know about Fincher or if you know, but like if he listens to actors at least taking their thoughts into
Yeah.
consideration, be like, okay, like let me think about it. And if you come to the decision, you're like, no, I still want to go this way, fine. But like to just be like, no, do this no matter what. Don't even give me any ideas. Like everything I know is perfect. Like that's just it's weird.
Fincher, for when I know he listens to people. I'm actually reading his biography, but he listens to people's like thought process, but he doesn't really give much pushback on shots because he very much
Okay.
plans out all the shots. It's like people are like, oh no, we're doing. Can we do this shot? He'd be like, I literally have every shot planned out for my
It's
for my
all in
next
my head.
for my next 3 movies, like, and it's going this exact way. Like I remember, this is the last thing I'll say, but Jake Gyllenhaal was saying that there was one scene, I think it was in Zodiac. I think that's the only movie he's in with him. But he was just like,
He's in Prisoners.
me writing something down on a piece of paper. We reshot that 34 times because he didn't like how it went.
That's crazy. I just
34.
picture like Timothy Chalamet, like, hey, can I actually, go up this sand dune instead of that one, or like take 4 steps instead of 5 steps? And he's like, no, because in Dune 87, we're gonna have Paul call back to when he took those 4 steps. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
because he said, like, I have my next 3 movies planned out. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. That's just what I picture in my brain is like someone trying to ask him something. He's like, no, don't worry. In the 8th sequel, we're gonna call back to this moment. So we need you to do it. Like,
I'm gonna save you, Scott. I think you just mixed up directors though.
what?
You were talking about Fincher and Dune was Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I called that out on the pod so people wouldn't be firing you on the comments or
yeah.
anything like that.
Why did I think it was Dune?
I don't know. It doesn't matter though. But don't worry, guys. I saved him. He's good.
Does Fincher have any movies with sequels?
I don't think so. No,
I can't think of a single. Yeah, why did I
he
think
made
Dune
the
was a
last
Fincher
Alien movie,
movie?
but that was the third movie. Well, I shouldn't say the last. He made the third Alien movie, but he didn't start them. So it's like,
I was just
no, he
using
doesn't have
Dune an
them.
example. Fuck you.
Yeah. We'll cut it out anyway. Do you
Uh,
have any other facts?
I don't got nothing. So unless you do, we'll
Okay.
get to the films.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the filmies.
Hey, our first ever intro music. Let's go.
Oh, okay. If you are new to the podcast, this is a segment in the show where we give out 6 awards to the movie that we were talking about or discussing this week. So first up, we have our Ferris Bueller Award, which is AKA our Lazy Award, which is it can be given to the director, the writer, characters, and or it's anyone involved with the movie. So Scott, who is your or who are you giving your Ferris Bueller Award to?
It goes to the movie in general, I guess.
Okay.
It's the fact that the band can play the song from the future perfectly when Marty takes the stage at the dance, and and so they play the slow songs, everything's fine. And then he's like, okay, now I got this new tune. Just he gives him like 5 seconds of instruction. He's like, okay, you just do this, just do that, just keep up. Like it's so generic, and then they just play it perfectly. I'm like, I don't know about all that, guys. Like,
hey, that's the power of rock and roll.
Okay. That one got me a little bit. I'm like, I'm not sure about that one, but all right.
Oh,
my bad. Hey, my bad, everybody. But
it's just in the podcast. It's just in that.
That's good. I'm not cutting it out.
Yeah,
it was a mistake.
I don't think you can cut it out. Were you talking over it or under it?
Yeah, maybe I could. I don't know.
Yeah,
we're gonna find out. But
yeah.
but yeah, that's my Ferris Bueller. I don't know, man. The fucking they can't play that music perfectly. How could they do that?
No, that's fair. I guess Bob Gale was just like, they're black. They can learn music quick.
They'll know. They'll keep up.
They'll know. Yeah, exactly. They'll keep up. Know. Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. He was like literally give the most generic cues, be like, just follow me, and they're just like in it. There was no struggle. Perfect. They're immediately just on top. He what they should have done, he should have looked back and be like, you guys are quick.
Yeah, you guys are really like that. Nice work, team. No, yeah, that was It was too
Yeah.
much for me.
That's fair. That's fair. It would have been a funny line if they're just like, "Damn, black people really do know music," and then just keep playing.
What?
But it's not that kind of. It's not that kind of movie.
And the Negroes really got a feel for the tunes.
He's like, "Damn, what are the '50s doing to me?" Anyway.
He said it. Then
Yeah.
I thought it was like a student like in the dance.
Oh,
Not Marty.
You're talking about Marty. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be even great.
Marty just getting slowly racist throughout the movie as he's in the 50s.
Oh, that's crazy, bro.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
What was your Ferris Bueller one?
my Ferris Bueller, speaking of, goes to Marty.
Okay.
And I kind of hinted this out the movie. It's just like, oh, actually, yeah, no. His plan for George to win over his mom. His plan is to take advantage of his own mom so George could come in and stop him. Dog.
Yeah.
You couldn't think of a better plan than that? Because he was like, what, you're gonna do it? He's like, it's just acting. I'm like, dog. So what was he really gonna do? Was he gonna grab her or something? Why are you putting yourself in this situation where you have to like get physical with your mom? Why was
That's a
that
good
your
point.
Why was that your plan?
That,
To me, that's lazy in the sense of like, you couldn't have thought of a better plan than that.
You're right. It's a bad. Yeah, it's a bad plan. Like he could have just said something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're a bitch, or you know what I mean? Like,
That's what I'm
you didn't have
saying.
to physically grab her or something.
Like when he
or-
said like girls don't like when you take advantage of them. I'm like, dog, that's your plan.
yeah,
That's your
wild.
mom. Even if it wasn't your mom, that's a wild plan. Like if it's a girl you're not interested in and that's your plan, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take advantage of this girl and you're gonna save her. And now it's your mom, dog.
Yeah,
What? That's a crazy plan.
that is a crazy plan. And then yeah, they couldn't think of anything. I mean, she was like, I like a man that can, protect his woman.
Yeah.
So
but
she had to come up with something for him to like protect her, but it did not have to be sexual assault.
no.
It did not have to be that.
It could have been it just could have been verbal. It
That's-
literally could
yeah.
have been verbal. He
Exactly.
just keep saying mean stuff about her, and then maybe he like grabs her wrist or something. Maybe you
Yeah,
don't have to
gives her a
touch her at
little
all.
push
Maybe you don't
or
have to touch her at
something.
all. But just be maybe, or just be verbal, be verbal, be
Just
like
be an
abusive.
asshole.
Yeah, and then maybe like you puff out your chest. I mean, Marty's not a big guy, so it's not like he's Biff size or anything like that. But yeah, to me that's just lazy in the fact of like you couldn't think of a better plan than that.
Yeah.
That's
No,
terrible.
hey, you're right. That's not a good plan. It's not a good plan. I mean, that was so unnecessary to do it that way. There are better plans. Because then
100%.
he had to be in the car, and like, why would George even be there in the car? Like, it could have been outside of the car, and yeah, there's definitely a better way.
Yeah, because even just the setup of it was awkward too. My last thing of him just being like, "You okay if we park?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm okay with parking. It's not my first time I've parked." And first of all, I was like, "Oh, that's disgusting to hear from your mom."
From your
To
mom,
hear-
yeah.
yeah. It's just like, oh god, that would have been the moment I'm like, "Yo, why did I do this plan?" That would have been my moment. I'm like, "Oh, this is just getting disgusting now."
Yeah, that's enough of that, mom. All right,
Yeah.
just stop. Just all right. I just become level bit. Okay, that's dad from the future.
Yeah,
Just go kiss him in the dance, and
yeah,
all right.
yeah. Just fuck this whole thing.
That's
But yeah, that was my first Bueller. But what now? The next award that we have is our fit check. It's called what was your best fit or worst fit of the movie? We haven't done worst fit yet, but
No, I was actually watching a movie the other day, and just not for the podcast, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, that was a pretty whack fit. That would be my whack fit check. But
okay.
no, for this one, I gave it to Marty just for his iconic fit, like the jeans, the checkered shirt, the jean shirt over top, and like that red vest
Mhm.
with the white Nikes and the red swoosh. Like it's just iconic. Like
Yeah.
you see it everywhere. And I don't know, I thought it was clean, man. Like the kicks were nice. Went with the vest. It was a clean look. I just liked it.
No, it is fresh, and the fit even gets elevated because I'm sure you've seen the Marty McFly kicks before, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that comes in the second one, but
Yeah,
like that's
the Air Mags, they're called.
yeah,
Like $20,000.
yeah, I know it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's iconic, but
Yeah.
no, I like that fit though. That is an iconic fit.
Exactly.
It definitely is. It's just like it's a staple. It's a staple character fit.
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
what-
exactly. It's like SpongeBob, you know what his Is fitting.
I was
I'm
just
sorry.
I was just gonna compare it. I was gonna go even further back. I was gonna do like Disney's Recess. I was gonna do TJ for whatever reason.
Okay, sure.
And
Yeah.
the only reason I was gonna do that because it's just not to go off on a tangent, but I just remember the funny scene where it's like you don't usually see this. I feel like in cartoons because you already know they wear the same thing every single day. But there
Yeah.
was a moment in the show where he opened his closet and all he had was the same outfit, and he was like making a decision, and then he just grabbed one. And I was like, that's great. That's a little like that's a hilarious humor in like a kid's show to have
I see
that.
those in cartoons all the time. Like American Dad, same thing. Like Stan opens the closet, and it's just all the exact same suit, and he's like, "Oh, I'm wearing suit 87 today."
Yeah.
But they're all the exact same.
Yeah,
to me.
exactly. But no, that is a great fit. My fit goes to Marty McFly too. It's not the same fit though, so unfortunately
Okay.
it's not certified. But I was kind of talking it up too. It was his first fit when he goes back into when he's in 1955, and it's the first time they go to the school. So he tries to talk to George again and try to convince him like, "Yo, you gotta go talk to that girl." He's got like these. It's like a classic. He's got dress shoes. He's got some dress pants. He's got like this nice like button up. It's like a white shirt. I can't really tell what the design like on the white shirt is. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know if they're like little boats or something like that. But it's
Okay.
fresh. And this is what I was talking about where like
Okay.
he slicked his hair back. He had a nice like little leather jacket. He looked sick. He looked like he was someone in like looked like someone in the 50s. But it was
Yeah.
just a fresh and that was in the moment when I was like, I'm like, dog, you're doing too much for someone that's trying to be a low profile and not trying to win this girl over.
And be the wingman.
That's what I'm saying.
You go up, you got to talk the guy up. You don't want to upstage him and be better than him. Like, bro, what? Come on, man.
You're coming in us like so like yeah, like you said, you're bringing yourself way too. Come up with a stained shirt or something, bro. Why are you coming correct every day?
And you know your dad's a loser already. like help him, man. Help him.
Even to the dance, he came correct. Like, bro, just gum messy hair or something. It should be like, what is this guy doesn't take care of himself or something? Nah, he's showing out at every moment.
Yeah, he's just trying to. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. But you're right. Hey, clean fit. But 100%. What is he doing? Help your dad out, bro.
It makes no sense. But so our next award is the best quote. So what was Scott? What was your best quote of the movie?
Mine was I actually said it earlier. It's Biff. Make like a tree and get out of here. I was like, what? I was just like, bro, what is?
Yo, Scott, we're certified. We both have the exact same quote. Let's go.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, that was what happened. Nothing happened. We don't
we don't know that happened before.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, I knew as soon as you brought it up to, I was like, should I mention that this is my quote? I was like, I'll say it. But it is the best quote. It's just
I think this is our first certified quote. Honestly, like there's like because if you think about it, right, in a movie, there's thousands of quotes. Like there's so many options, right? So but this one I just heard it. I was like, what is this guy saying? What is he trying to say right now? Who wrote that into the script? Make like a tree and get out. Oh, maybe he was trying to say make like a tree and leave. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Well, that is the quote. That is the saying. Make a tree and leave.
Because I never even heard that before, but I just thought.
Oh, you never even heard that before.
No.
Oh, okay. So that adds another layer to it for you. But like I've heard that make like a tree and leave thing.
Right.
It's like let's make like a banana and split. Let's make like some balls and I don't know if it's balls and bounce because that sounds kind of sus, but
right.
But no, they and the guy that plays Biff is a comedian, so that could have been his line that he was like, I think we should say this because like a dumb joke or whatever. He doesn't even know how to say lines or something.
At least now I know like he meant to say like a thing, like this is a thing.
Yeah.
And he just fucked it up. I literally thought he just like came up with this and I was like, dude, this makes no sense. This is so funny though. That's amazing.
No, it's good. It definitely is good. So our next award we got up is the sixth man. So Scott, who was your sixth man in this movie?
My sixth man goes to Industrial Light and Magic.
Okay.
So this is the special effects company that worked on it. So it's funny because I did this. If you listen to Transformers, that's the same company. I actually gave them my MVP. Actually? Yeah, I had actually. It's the same one.
Yeah.
Obviously, much earlier, but this is the same company, and I had given them my MVP for that one. But for this one, sixth man, just because I talked about before, the special effects, especially considering the times, were really good in this movie. Like I was normally you watch old movies and you're like, wow, that looks horrible. That looks horrible. But like you're like you get it because it was it was old and that's all they could do. But in this one, I was like, this actually looks good.
Yeah.
Like if I was watching this movie today, I wasn't like this sucks, this sucks. Like I said, there was
Yeah.
that one hand thing, but they
Yeah.
even mentioned it. They were on a tight schedule and they would have done better if they could.
Mhm.
So like the fire and the plate and the DeLorean in general, like they had a part of like building the DeLorean and everything.
Yeah.
It to look iconic. It just looks sick. I was like, these guys, that's my six man.
Yeah. No, it's good. And apparently they made 3 different DeLoreans too. I don't
Oh
know
shit.
why. I don't know why. I don't know why you'd make 3 different ones. I guess maybe
Yeah, I
just
don't know.
yeah. I guess maybe 3 different ones for 3 different shots. Maybe like one. Maybe that was like a full one. Another one was one that was rigged up so they could have the camera inside. Maybe it was like that kind of thing.
Yeah, you
I'm
probably
assuming
definitely one so that you
different
could
camera
see
rig ones.
Marty inside when he's sitting there. Yeah, that's probably right. But I don't know what the third one would have. Maybe just for close-ups or something. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
actually
maybe.
drive. Or
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, but no, that's a good one. I was thinking about them too because I was like, I don't know who. Like you had the right idea because I was thinking about like, is there a specific person that I gotta look for that did this? But I was like, yeah, but giving it to the whole team that makes sense. That works.
because I was thinking too, and we even talked about it. Like all the characters in this movie, like everybody sucks, dude. So I was like, can I give it to Biff? No, he sucks.
No.
Can I give it to his dad? No, he's
Creep.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a creep. I was like, can I give it to his mom? Like, I was like, not really. It was like, who could I give it to? And I was
And
like,
you can't really give it to Marty because he's not a side character. That was the
yeah, I
thing too.
can't
Also,
give it to
like
Marty.
the dad and Marty aren't even side characters, so it's like you can't really give them 6 man.
Yeah.
But
So that's my six man.
yeah, it's good. That's a good 6 man. Mine, we're talking about horrible people. This guy was a horrible person too, but it kind of goes into almost of like because the person that I gave my 6 man is one of Biff's friends, and
Okay.
it's because of something he said that just made me laugh, and I kind of forgot that he said this, and I don't think I even noticed it probably as a kid because I probably didn't even know what it meant. But it was when like Marty got locked in the trunk and they were saying like the racial slurs towards like the band guys, whatever. And they came
Yeah.
out like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Hey, I'm not trying to mess with no reefer addicts, okay?" I was like, "What?"
Like, what
And
the
then
hell,
they just got
dude?
out of yeah. And I was just like, reefer addicts. I'm like, that is so 50s to call
Yeah,
it a
seriously.
reefer. And I don't know that
Reefer.
that line is. I was like, how do I give this guy props? I was like, the make like a tree and get out of here is too good as a quote. So I gotta give that in some love in some way. So let me give him my 6 man just for that one
Okay.
line.
Yeah, I
So-
like it. Hey, tiny role when he
Yeah.
balled out with the crazy like reaper addicts. And just like doesn't know the guy. These are the musicians at your school bands, bro. Like,
Yeah,
what
I
do
know.
You think they're gangsters? Like, chill out, dude.
Yeah, no, that's just ridiculous. But I was like, I gotta give
That's-
it some shout out in some way.
Yeah,
It's
that's funny.
So goofy.
I like
But
it. Good pick.
we got 2 more awards. So the first one we got the best scene. So Scar, what was your favorite scene of this movie?
I give it to the lightning strike scene. So when he's going back to the future, just kind of like we talked about before, like we got Doc going wild, like in getting up and getting the like climbing to the clock tower, and he's almost falling off, and he's got it hooks onto his pants, and he's got to get like just all Doc going crazy was great. Marty trying to tell him about the future. You know, he keeps going like, "No, I got to tell you this," and he keeps saying no, and all the shit going wrong. Like we said, it was building the suspense. I mean, I knew he was gonna make it,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It was just a fun scene, like with the Doc. Sorry, always looking up at the clock, getting the cable plugged in, and then not plugging it into the bottom. And to be fair, now that I just think about it, why couldn't it have just been one continuous cable? Why did there have to be plug-in connections? Maybe you didn't have a long enough
yeah.
cable. I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, it's probably the second. I mean, what it really comes down to is the writers just want to add some extra like layers
exactly.
to it.
Yeah.
But if Marty asked him in the movie, be like, I just don't have anything long enough. You know,
Yeah.
it's a quick line.
But I
for him to throw
I
in
thought
there.
it was great. Like the scene, just like them going back and forth, all the craziness that ensues, and
Yeah.
then like the effects of like the DeLorean again when it higher and license plate. It has everything. It's great.
No, it is really good, and that's why it's my best scene too.
Hey, certified.
Let's
Hey,
go.
Let's go.
But yeah, basically, not to repeat everything you said, but like you brought up a lot of the great points, and it's we mentioned it even when we were talking about it before. It's like everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and it's just like
Yeah.
that suspense of like, oh man, this thing's going wrong, this thing's going wrong. Are they gonna make it? And also as a kid, I remember watching this because I knew like my dad was like, oh, we're gonna watch this trilogy. We didn't watch it all the same day, but I actually wasn't. Part of me was thinking like, oh, is he not gonna make it? Because I know there's 2 more movies, and is the movie's gonna be the next movie gonna be how the heck do we get out of 1955? You know what I mean? So like as a kid, I actually didn't know. So
Right.
that stuck with me of being like, oh, I was actually like in on it. Like I don't know if he's gonna make it back. I know there's 2 more movies, so maybe there's gonna be like a thing of like, damn, so how do we get out of 1955 or whatever kind of
Yeah.
thing. Obviously, I was like,
Find some plutonium or some shit.
yeah, exactly. So I was actually on the edge of my seat as a kid. I remember being like, "Oh snap!" Because I knew there was gonna be 2 more movies.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a
and as
cool perspective.
yeah, and as a kid, you're probably all naive anyway. So you maybe think, I don't, is he gonna make it? I don't know. After you watch a couple movies and you're like, yeah, the hero's probably gonna make it. This is
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
this is a
But as a
kid's
kid,
movie.
yeah, it works great. And yeah, just a fun scene. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Really fun scene, and a lot of the great same points you said. So I don't want to repeat them. But our last and I'd say most importantly, because it is the MVP.
Yeah, definitely.
Who is your MVP, Scott, of this movie?
My MVP goes to Doc. I
Okay.
thought, just all the over the top shit, like the mad scientist, the hair, the just all of his mannerisms. He's yelling the whole time. It just works. It's
Oh
great.
yeah.
He's super funny, and the fact that he clutched up. Like I said, like
Yeah.
all this shit's going wrong. He climbed the clock tower, got the plug in, then got down and was able to plug it in right at the bottom, just as Marty uh hit the cable, so he got the 1.21 gigawatts of power. He clutched up. He made it happen. He was the MVP, dude. He was great.
I'm surprised that wasn't your quote. One
I
point
thought
twenty
about
one
it. I thought about it, dude.
You had a lot of fun saying that. It's a good line too.
It's great. It's
You had
great,
me
dude.
thinking, was like, shit, that should have been mine, bro. That shit was hilarious.
Because it was delivered by Doc, who's my
Yeah, that's true.
MVP.
That's
He's
true.
great, man.
That is true. Is that all you have to say about him?
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Okay,
it was
okay.
yours.
So Scott, my MVP was also Doc.
Let's go.
That's 3. I don't know if we've ever gone 3 certified before.
Triple certified. I don't think so.
We definitely had it with the sound effects, so that just makes it go even harder.
Yeah,
Before
exactly.
we just got hyped to silence.
Yeah, we're just like, hey, certified. Now we got all this cool soundboard. Look at us, guys.
Exactly. And maybe we'll add more. I don't know what else we could really add, but again, when you have the same thing for a scene or MVP, where it's usually gonna be for the same reasons. So I don't want to repeat everything. I feel like he was really good in great like physical comedy. Kind of gave me like Kramer vibes from Seinfeld, like very much like sporadic, running around, like freaking out, like all that.
Yeah.
Zany like energy. And there's just he threw some bars in there too. Like I thought I laughed when he finally saw like George as like in high school like, with Marty. He's like, "Are you sure you weren't adopted?" I'm like, "Damn."
He was great, man.
He was good. And then later on in that same scene when he's like, when they're figuring like how are we gonna get them to get back together, and he's looking at the dance poster and he's like, "Look, there's a rhythmic ceremonial ritual coming up." I'm like, "You don't know what a dance is, dog."
Yeah, that's
rhythmic
amazing.
ceremonial ritual. Like that's wild. That's crazy. That was almost my quote, just because the wildness of I've never heard someone refer to that.
That got me too. Yeah, that was funny. And yeah, you're right. Like the physical, like the mannerisms, where he's falling all over the place, bumping into shit. Like when he's going to the garage, he's trying to run away from Marty. When he's like, "No, I'm really from the future," he's dropping all of his papers and everything. It's just like I said, just your typical like mad scientist, everything over the top, and it's amazing. Like it's over
great.
the top, but it's not so much that it's like, okay, like sometimes like you can have that overacting.
Yeah.
But it's weird, like because it's over the top, it is overacting. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but I just think it was a good balance and it was great.
I feel like because it was delivered in a way where he wasn't in the movie that much. Like he was sprinkled in. Like I think if we saw him with Marty the whole way and maybe he was doing that, then maybe it would be like the stick would get a little old. But there's a decent amount of scenes where he's not there. And then when he comes in, he delivers his shit, and then it's just like it's hilarious. Then he's gone for a couple of scenes, and then he's back. So I feel like there's a good balance of it.
Yeah, good point.
I think that's why it works. to be honest. And then also, like, I just like the fact that the whole time when he was in 1955, he was just talking about how, like, oh, I don't know any information about the future. And then when we get to the future, just like, I figured what the
I
hell.
looked. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, real one. That's a real one.
That's great.
That is
certified.
great.
3 certifieds.
3 certifieds.
What do we have? We had quote,
Best scene,
scene, and MVP.
Yeah,
Hey, that's dope. Yeah, triple certified. Okay.
I think last time we had 3 was I, Tonya. I think that sounds about. I think I, Tonya.
Could be right.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll look.
We'll have to look back at the game too.
Yeah, exactly.
Check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for us, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to rate us 5 stars. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review, and we will read it out on the pod. Make sure to follow us on all social medias at the Film Room Pod. And like I said, thanks for listening. We will see you next week. And over to Dion to take a shot.
And like Scott said about the ratings, I don't know on Spotify yet if you can do ratings with a comment. I know on Apple you can. So if you leave, again, like we said, if you make a 5-star review, I'll read it on the podcast. But if you make it a 4-star, I only have one thing to say to you. Just make like a tree and get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.